Live.
What's up, guys? We are live. So we switched up the studio. As you can see, it is much better this time. We got Sarah J rolling in 2 days, so we have to have everything looking nice and sniffy for her, because otherwise, we're going to be in the porn hall of shame. We got IndianPE joining us. You guys said you want to see more of him, and then we got Nati.
Hi, guys.
She has her own mic, so she's special. So we're going to do something a little different in this one. So Nati is going to be asking me and IndianPE questions. She has a whole list of questions. I haven't actually gone through them because I want my response to be original. And I don't know. Have you gone through them?
No.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
I saw like her.
Here's to procrastination.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, we're going to be answering her questions. Then we're going to be answering all your questions. So what are questions you have for me, for Nati, for IndianPE, for the homeless guy we found to man the camera? Ask away.
Also, let us know how the audio is.
Yeah, if you guys are having any technical issues, again, this is still a working project, so we're gonna keep fine tuning until we get it at least better than Fresh and Fit. I will not rest until it's better than that. All right, let's get started.
So it's a Nati takeover type of night tonight. So let's
get your butt plugs ready.
I know, you guys. It's gonna get kind of kinky tonight.
Wink, wink.
So let's start with you guys change your makeover, your glow up, because you guys went from looking like Holocaust survivors to these two hunks. One looked like he was surviving like a famine in India, and the other one came from like surviving a Holocaust, not pun intended. So Alex.
So basically, we just moved to America.
I know. Basically.
And all the problems were solved.
Alex.
First world lifestyle.
Yours was more of a fitness type of transformation. So give us, I know this is a topic you touch upon, but I want to hear a little bit more about your diet, TRT, and the training.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, guys ask this question a lot. I wouldn't say there's anything special about my training regimen at all. I don't think I've discovered any like super optimal training regimens. In fact, there's been a few times where I've had friends of mine who are like trainers or bodybuilders look at my training protocol and they're like, dude, like there's a lot of improvements you can make here. So I'm not doing anything like super crazy, suboptimal. Really, the only thing I am doing is I'm just very consistent. I've been training consistently for the last 4 years. I don't really take days off unless my neck really hurts. And I'm eating very consistently. I haven't had a cheat day in like 5-6 years. So no cheat days. I'm on a meal plan. So I know, so I don't have to there's no guesswork, right? I just have these meals. I know if I eat this, then I meet my calorie goals. And it's simple as that. So it's not like, oh, should I add extra scoop of protein? Should I not? It's very simple, very straightforward. Yeah, I mean, we can kind of get
How many calories do you take a day?
Depends on the day. So lately I've been doing, so now I'm at a point where I'm just trying to more or less maintain. I'm not trying to really put on more mass, unless I want to be like Mac and It's Always Sunny. So right now I'm doing one day where I do 1,500 calories, so then my days off. And then my training days, I do like 3,000.
Just 1,500 calories?
Yeah, I just only eat one meal a day.
I don't even consume that. Do I eat more than you, Alexander?
I don't think so. I really doubt you eat 1,500 calories. 1,500 calories is a lot, even though it may seem like it's not.
I mean, what about your TRT? I don't know if this is something we can touch upon.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay, so tell us, how does it work?
Basically, I take a syringe, put it up my ass. That's the thing I've been doing differently. Some guys are sticking it in their ass. I'm going all the way up my ass, right? That's what's giving me the extra. No, I mean, it's just I'm doing a standard dose again.
What is the standard dose?
150 milligrams a week. Like it's not a bodybuilder dose. A bodybuilding dose would be like 500 milligrams a week, right? So that's like if you see that super jacked bro at the gym when they're doing testosterone, they're doing like 500 milligrams a week, 400, 600, something like that. I'm not doing that. Some of them are doing like 1 gram a week. That's like extreme cases. I'm doing 150 milligrams, which is very standard therapeutic dose. Basically, the goal is just to get my testosterone to that of like a healthy 18-year-old. It's not to get into like these superficial levels of like, someone that would never be found in nature. It's just to like hit what they would be in optimal conditions for like an 18, 19-year-old.
So does doses depend on your weight and height, or it's a standard one?
No, it partially depends. Like if you're a really big guy, you need a little more. If you're super small, you get less.
Do you have to get it from like a doctor or?
Yeah, I get it from a doctor. I don't like do any like hood rat medicines like that you get on the street or something like that. Yeah, everything comes from a pharmacy.
What type of doctor do you go to for that?
I've switched around a lot, but it's like a male hormone doctor. Like he does a bunch of things. I'm pretty good friends with like the clinic director, so it's not a big deal. I don't really need to like see the doctor. We're just like I call him like, hey man, I need more testosterone. They send it over once a year. I have to do blood work.
So who guys who want to go get on TRT, they need to go for a male hormone doctor.
Yeah, well, what's it
called?
The first thing you need to do is get blood work done and see if your testosterone is actually low. Like mine was legitimately like very low. So that's the first thing you need to do. And second of all, yeah, just find a functional medicine doctor, integrated medicine doctor. There's a lot of virtual clinics nowadays. So you need to find a good place though, because some of them are kind of shady and they try to like overprescribe you a bunch of shit that you don't need.
Okay. IndianPE, we're going for you.
For you.
Your transformation, it's kind of mind-blowing. I saw your before pictures, and had I known you before, I would have been like, thank God he's Indian. Yay for arranged marriages. Because he's never going to get laid. Unless, like, if someone were to tell me that the guy you look like before would be you, I would be like, he has to die and be born again. There's no choice. This guy has hope. I mean, your transformation was, in my opinion, mind-blowing. But it was more grooming, weight gaining, because you're still on your fitness journey.
The joke of 2021.
I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to be supportive, even though that I am like every time we hang out, I'm the only one eating.
If we're using the word journey very, very loosely.
So tell me how it started. Like, how did the grooming process started? How it's like, you moved to America. Right?
The funny part was actually when I first moved to America as well, it wasn't like, okay, I'm in America, everyone is wearing like really good clothes. Yeah, I can learn from them or something like that. I was still hanging out with my Indian friends who were not doing anything. They were just smoking hookah, eating Indian food, spicy Indian food, which I really, really fucking like. And that's why I'm still like this. But like it was always like that. The circles I was hanging out in were just simply that, like people who are not willing to grow, who are basically like, yeah, bro, the Americans, they're not gonna like us. We have to stay in our little circle. We shouldn't be like talking to them, etc. I clearly remember this one as well. I had this friend in my master's over here. When he first met Swifty, he was like, bro, like, you don't know, you can't trust them. You can't trust these white people. That's literally what he thought. Like, and I'm like, why, dude? Like, he seems like a cool guy. And they're like, there were two other friends as well.
Shows how wrong you were. Can't trust the whites. It's a lesson that you still haven't learned.
And I was like, nah, he seems like a cool guy. And this was like during the process where I first actually discovered game. And still back then, I didn't give a fuck about my style, etc. Right? I was so into the whole real social dynamics. They were like, oh, looks don't matter at all. Fuck looks, etc. I'm like, oh, they said that they don't matter. So, they have more experience than me. Me being a virgin, of course, they don't matter. So I'll just wear whatever I want. I was wearing like these checkered shirts. Like if I was just walking on the street, ask any girl, he would be like, oh, this guy works in IT. That's how I was dressing back then as well. And like eventually when I first started like running into people who were good in game, every single person told the same thing. Bro, you have to work on your fashion. Bro, you have to work on your fashion. And the first time I ever got a good advice was from this guy. He's actually part of our mastermind now. Funnily, he was the one who taught me first, and then now I'm teaching him text game, which is a great feeling. And he was like, yeah, dude, you don't groom your side of your head. So I used to just leave my head grow on the sides. I used to look like an old man who like Gandhi, basically like Gandhi, who is fighting for freedom, like still fighting for freedom in America. And that's how I used to look like. And he was like, yeah, dude, just focus more on like doing something about your hair, because you still have a good beard line, right? So try to let it grow and then shape it, right? And then I started doing that, and I realized like girls were giving me more and more attention. Like when I was talking to them, they would actually lock eyes with me or like talk to me more, give me more smiles when I'm talking to them. Before that, it was like, the bathroom is over there, or like, oh, I have to go to my friends, etc. I used to get those harsh rejections. And I met another guy who's basically who is this guy, and his name is Gabriel Gutchenko. Again, really solid fashion advice. So it was basically people who had good experience with women. They were the ones who were giving me the best advice. And then that's when I realized, okay, keeping it simple is the best way to be.
Okay.
And like eventually, like, this is what I'm at, right? I have like 3 combinations of clothes I wear to any kind of date.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is how I am usually on a date as well. I'm on a date with you right now.
You gotta start escalating, bro. Otherwise, I'm gonna give you that more.
So, so just to compress everything, what are the things that men need to do in order to up their appearances if they're not in the like to
Start
make
hanging
it
out with white
quicker
people.
quicker as possible?
I think the biggest thing is like they gotta stop thinking, oh, this only works for specific kind of people, or this only works for people who are like this tall, or this only works for people who have 6-pack abs, etc. They have to stop being the victim and actually just look up very easy research, like what's the best fashion trend currently going on. If you have a lot of hair, what can you do with it? Like what kind of attires do girls get attracted to? And one big thing is when you go out in the clubs, you have to see which guy is getting the best reactions from women, and you have to learn from him. You have to learn his mannerism, you have to learn his wear, his clothing, etc. I learned this from Gabriel Gray, but yeah, that's specifically what I would tell.
Perfect. Let's go to hair loss.
Oh, my favorite topic. Next.
No.
No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
no,
All right,
no.
let's get into hair loss.
Alex,
Obviously, not something I know anything about with a perfect hairline, so I'll let you handle this. Since impeccable hairline.
prevention. I mean, how do you someone like hair loss preventions? What are the best hair loss
What are the best
preventions,
hair loss
treatments?
preventions? Yeah, there's a few. A lot of it also depends on how bad your hair loss is and what the reason, but I'll just go through the general ones. Let me start off with the ones I use, and then I'll go into some of the ones that I don't use, but I might use in the future. So the first one I use is minoxidil, Rogaine, same thing. You put the foam in your hair. Now, the one downside with that is that think of it like a drug. Like it works, it's good while you use it, but then once you get off it, you lose even more hair, right? That's like a common effect. So basically, you have to just stay on it forever, which I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do that. So minoxidil, that's one. I do derma rolling. I just recently got this machine called the Terminator 2. It's from fucking Prague. It looks like some kind of crazy sex machine, and you put it in your hair and goes, it just fucking punctures little holes in your scalp. But this stuff has been scientifically proven by mainstream publications to work. So they did a study. They did just 3 groups, I believe, or 4 groups. Well, first group was just Rogaine. Second group was just derma rolling. Third group was derma rolling and Rogaine. Fourth was just a placebo control group. And the third group did way better than the first 2 groups. So there's something in combining derma rolling with Rogaine that gives you significantly better results. Another thing is a supplement called Saw Palmetto, which is basically like a natural version of Propecia. It's not going to be as good as Propecia, but I have my reasons for not wanting to fuck with Propecia because there can be some detrimental health effects. So I stick to Saw Palmetto. I take that every day, which stops the conversion of testosterone into DHT, or at least minimizes it. Another thing that you can do is PRP injections into your scalp. They're extremely fucking painful, although I think now they do them with anesthesia, but back when I got it, like 4 years ago, they just took the needles and stuck them in your scalp. So fucking painful. It's the most painful shit ever. And I've had some painful shit done in my life. So yeah, but now I think it's a lot more painless. And recently, what I'm going to be doing in the next few weeks, which I'm looking into, which I'm having her is combining exosomes with PRP, which is supposed to be way more potent, and injecting them into the scalp in areas where you're losing hair. And that's what I'm going to do next. And if that doesn't give me the results I want, then I might consider a hair transplant. But that would be like the last step.
Will that help you grow hair or just prevent?
In theory, it should help with both. It should help with growing hair, but it just everyone responds differently to it.
Okay. And has being bold affected your game?
Not at all. Not one bit whatsoever, actually. If anything, it the funny part is, how there is. I mean, elephant in the room. Indian stereotype is not one of the most attractive stereotypes out there. 100%. I completely agree with that. Even if people are like, oh no, Indian, there people are racist or something like that. Everyone has their racial preferences. I do as well. He has as well. And the funny part is when I started shaving my hair, whenever I asked girls to guess what my ethnicity was, no one ever said it Indian, right? Because I don't come across that way. And if anything, it actually helped me to go completely bald, and I have more of like a masculine look with the beard showing that dark, and like I've only had like compliments with my beard, and me. I mean, like girls saying that the bald look suits them much better. So it suits me much better, and that they find much more attractive.
No one knows you're Indian until you
I
start.
have, I have a
In which case
question.
it
What
becomes super
ethnicity
obvious.
did they think you were?
Sometimes they call me British. Yeah, sometimes they think I'm Dominican.
Okay.
So like the Latina I was dating, she thought I was Dominican until I opened my mouth, which was funny. And the other one was
Jamaican?
sometimes I get black, but barely ever. Like it's always like British or German.
They know
Oh
I'm
yeah, I
black
even
when
get
I put
German.
on my
German.
pants.
Yeah, I get
German.
German as well.
Were
and-
these girls
I mean, I
were
think
these girls on something when they say
no,
we're
nothing like
German?
I thought it was just an America thing. And when I went to Croatia as well, when I asked them because they're like, oh yeah, you're German or you're like Czech Republic, so they're like they're telling everything except for Indian. It's just funny.
Okay, and they were not on something.
Yeah, they were not on something. I did a drug test right then and there.
Okay.
I poked them with a pin.
I tell people I'm Haitian.
Haitian.
Haitian from Haiti.
Did you always want to be Haitian? Or something
I just
like
tell people like I'm something very ambiguous. People
Well,
always.
what do you do when they ask, do you speak Creole?
I tell them that I was that not
you
anymore.
do know they speak something besides Spanish.
I know, but I tell them that not
Like,
anymore. That I
Creole
moved to the
language is
Dominican
fascinating.
Republic
I love
when
that
I was
language.
4.
It's so like it's such a weird combination between
I
like,
tell them that I moved
French
to the
and
Dominican
Spanish.
Republic when I was 4.
It's pretty sexy actually. Creole. It's like
I mean, in my mind, I'm a person of color, so
Right.
I get your point. Like I get your
Mm.
as the only.
Oh yeah, let's team up against the white man.
Yeah, exactly. So, once like a lot of people think that before, like especially you, like I don't know about IndianPE, but a lot of people think that you got into game once you were looking this hot and this good, but you were
thank
into
you.
game way before that, right?
Yeah, I got into game when I was 21, 22.
And you look like that's when you look like the Holocaust survivor.
That is when I escaped from the Holocaust. I went right from the Holocaust into game. I
Okay.
got out 1942. I got into a time machine like Captain America. 2012. Here I am. All right, straight into pickup.
And you got into a few relationships because a lot of people would think that like girls will just have sex with you and hide you, but you were able to get like a few girlfriends, right?
I was able to sucker a few girls into dating me.
Into dating you, yeah.
Not much has changed.
If you look like that, I'm not gonna lie, I would probably sleep with you, but I will not show you in public.
Okay. I don't know how to respond to that.
I mean, I'm being transparent now.
I mean, was
Yeah,
I
you are.
really that bad looking? I
You're
mean,
for
I was
your
skinny.
glow up.
I was skinny as fuck, and I had like the Jufro.
But
Uh,
like in your defense, I
used to
I
wear a
was
lot
kind
of baggy-
chubby. I was kind of fat
Oh, so
at that age, so we
who,
wouldn't.
who knows if I would have shown you in public?
I know. I
Just
don't.
bang this fatty.
I don't think you would have shown me in public. I'm not gonna lie. So we probably just hit each other from the public.
I don't think it's that difficult to hide Nati. She's too tiny.
Yeah, you're tiny,
But I was a fatty. I think I weighed the
Bella.
same that you did at that
like a
time.
little bowling ball.
I weighed 130 pounds.
Damn. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right around what I weighed, honestly. So we would have been like the same weight
I know. Wouldn't that be like?
with an 11-inch difference.
I
That's
know.
nice.
That's nice. What about you, IndianPE? Were you like doing game and getting girls before you glow up, or
Oh no, not at all. I mean, I would say, I
I'm
would
looking
say
at
it
you
was
behind
at
the
least,
camera guy.
I would say at least it was a year before I even chose to like make a difference with my appearance, or like
Okay.
any kind of extra effort to put into the way I look. Like the first year, I would say out of 365 days, the year of 2017, I went out at least 320 days
Oh wow.
for 6 to 8 hours a night
Oh shoot.
in Vegas. Like I used to go out, then come back home, think about what mistakes I must have made, and then in the afternoon I would go and talk to girls again, and then come back, eat something, sleep, and then go out again. It was
Shoot.
just an intense night
What?
of romance
Oh my
every
goodness.
night.
That was basically me minus the sleeping.
So that takes
Oh,
me
shit.
to my next question.
For both.
Yes. What are the 5 or 3 essential skills to a good game? Or staying to game?
5 essential skills to good.
5 or 3.
5 or 3 essential skills to good game. 1, not giving a fuck. That's a big one because too many guys give way too much of a fuck. Oh shit, did I creep her out? Oh, did I make her uncomfortable? Oh shit, what if she hates me now? Oh, what if this old lady saw and she's gonna judge me? Oh, you gotta just get to a point where you really don't give a fuck. I mean, it doesn't mean that you you're like a sociopath and you're hurting people, right? But you just don't really care what other people think about you. So that when you can get to that point, it's very, very helpful. And I can share the story later on of how I kind of got to that point. There was a few little epiphanies that I had. So that's the first one. Second of all, I would say learn proper game structure. So you can have all the best mindsets in the world, but if you don't really understand how to run interaction, how to pull, how to, optimally escalate, how to optimally close, how to text, then you're just going to be hitting your head against the wall most of the time. So learning proper game structure, understanding that, for example, when a girl says, "We're so not having sex tonight," that means that we're having sex tonight. Understanding these things. When a girl says, "I don't know if your place is kind of far," how do you handle that? Do you say, for example, "Oh, it's only 15 miles," or be like, don't worry, we're like 5 minutes away. We're almost there. We're good. Let's go. So yeah, understanding proper game structure. And number 3, I want to say, I'm not giving a fuck. Oh, also realizing a big component of this is a numbers game and variable. So way too many guys, they go out, talk to one girl, they get rejected, like, fuck, this shit doesn't work. And then maybe they go out a few days later, but you have to go through a decent amount of volume. So when you start, this is what helped me because I was into sales for a while, start treating prospects like leads, right? Just okay, it would take me, I would have to talk to 10 clients to get one sale. So why would girls be any different? I've talked to 10 girls to get one hookup or whatever. There's this great I want to do a video on this with King of the Hill, where Boomhauer takes Bobby and tries to teach him game, and he's like, "Oh, Bobby, I'm gonna show you how it's done." I can't really do the Boomhauer voice because it's like pretty crazy, but they go to like the mall or whatever, and then Boomhauer just gets rejected and rejected and rejected, and Bobby's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, and then he's like, Boomhauer's like, "See, that's how it's done." Bobby's like, "Dude, you just got rejected 15 times. He's like, "Yeah, but the 16th time I got the phone number." And Bobby's like, "This is game?" He's like, "Yeah." But like there's an element of truth there. Like that is game. I mean, shouldn't be probably 16 girls, but maybe 4 or 5. So I would say those are the big 3 ones off the top of my head.
IndianPE, you cannot say.
Oh, I'm not
same.
gonna
They
repeat
have to be
those
different.
because I have different
Exactly.
lessons myself. So
Oh, okay.
So
5
the-
or 3.
3, I would say 3.
Okay.
So first thing is ability to handle tension. That's I think that was one of the biggest ways I learned myself, because my initial mistakes was I should not let the girl talk. Like I would not let the girl talk. I would just like do self amusement and like make myself feel good, right? Meanwhile, I didn't even look at the girl, like how she's feeling, etc. Right? Like that's one thing. Like handling, ability to handle tension, and it's not something easy at all. Uh, like the way you practice it as well. Like you maintain tension with your friends. Like you be the one who fucking talks louder in the room until like someone stops you, and
Well, don't be the weird guy that starts yelling.
Yeah,
when
but-
your friends are hanging out.
But
So
being still
where are we going tonight? Dude,
so you still
I'm already sleeping.
I mean, also be socially calibrated, of
Damn,
course,
he's watching our videos again.
or playing with fire now. Anyway, the other one is ability to also have a conversation with anyone. It doesn't have to just be a girl, right? If you can talk to a stranger, even I mean, like without the pressure of like, oh, it's a stranger, then you can talk to a girl without the pressure of, oh, it's a girl. So you have to train yourself to be able to like talk to anyone on the street. When I first started, my aim was to talk to 3 strangers a day. Three strangers. They don't have to be women. That was like the first month, and like a lot of guys. I did creep a lot of white guys. I did creep out a lot of guys, but and then like progressively increasing, right? Like every day it was like 5 people. Now add women into the mixture, add group sets into the mixture, etc., etc., etc.
The gay club, dancing with all the gay dudes.
And the third one is learning your sexuality. It is a very
Which I
frowned upon
respect in the gay
topic, which is weird as hell because well you wanna have sex with a girl, right? And a lot of guys actually really have no fucking clue what they like in bed, and communicating that with a girl is amazing because when you do that, the girl is so willing to communicate herself, right? And you can dictate the frame a lot that way. Like if you're like sexualizing the properly, like if you talk about sex a lot, she's gonna feel comfortable about like explaining her interests. Like if she keeps saying like, oh, all the crazy shit she's done, she's gonna be like, oh, okay, this with him sex is so easy. If I can talk so easily about it, I'm pretty sure I can easily have sex with him. So yeah, those 3 things I would say are the biggest 3 skills.
Let me add a little bit. Definitely agree with the holding sexual tension. I'm not sure how I feel about the yelling one and whatnot, but the ones I will add is being grounded, which means being the guy that's not affected by anything. So basically, think the opposite of Myron Gaines, right? Think the opposite of someone who gets super triggered by everything. You're the guy that doesn't get triggered by anything. Like everything just rolls off your shoulders. You don't give a fuck, which is similar to I don't give a fuck, but yeah, being very grounded. Julian talks about that in his product, The Pimp, which I thought that's kind of where I got the idea from. That would be one. And I would say also, I had an idea in my head. I just completely forgot what the fuck it was. Building sexual tension, we covered that. Being grounded, we covered that. Having control, emotional mastery, having control of your emotions. So, for example, let's say you're going for the kiss and she gives you the cheek. You feel rejected. Maybe you want to lash out. You don't do that, right? You have control of your emotions. You start getting annoyed. You don't lash out, right? So, having good control of your emotional mastery, very important. I think that's the key. You don't want an alpha guy doesn't let his emotions, dictate his behavior. He controls and dominates his emotions. And that quote is from True Blood. So I'm giving full credits in the scene with Godric and Eric. It was a great scene, season 3. Thank you very much. They were hunting Nazis. Anyway, moving on.
Flakiness. Yeah, your favorite subject. Like a lot of guys in the community struggle with that. When to continue to be persistent, and when to be like, you know what, it's not gonna happen.
Who do you want to go first?
How do you know, like, when to continue being persistent and when it's not gonna happen?
Well, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you figure it out the hard way. Like there's been times. Sometimes I get a gut feeling. Like I'm gonna make it happen with this girl, and doesn't matter. Like maybe it's 3 months later, but don't make it happen. Sometimes I get this gut feeling, and I'm usually right. But there's been times where I've been wrong. I don't know. I mean, my perspective on this has changed a little bit. Not my perspective, it's just like now I'm at a point where I got you, I got you locked out. I'm just busy with work.
I only have a 9% chance of meeting anyone else, so
Yes.
I might as well just...
You ain't gonna do any better.
Yeah, I mean, just 9% chance, you guys, of him or dying alone. I pick him.
Thank you. So basically, I would say. What was I talking about? We'll start talking about your
when to let it die and when
your sad future.
And when to continue.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to continue. So, for example, the girl flakes on you. Like, it takes you 2 seconds to follow up with her. A lot of this also depends on how did she flake. For example, did she say, "Hey, I'm sorry, my grandpa's sick tonight. Do you mind if we reschedule?" That's a lot different than, "Hey, can't make it tonight." Right? Both are flakes, right, in a way, but one is totally different than the other. So your response heavily has to depend: is it the first time that she flaked,
Okay.
or is this the third time? Is she, did she give you a heads up like the night before, or was she telling you a minute off, or she didn't even tell you at all? She just didn't text you. So all these things are important to consider. But generally speaking, if the girl gave me a heads up, it's the first time, I'll just, reschedule with her. If it's a multiple times or she doesn't give me a head up, I'll call her out. I'll hit her with, "I genuinely didn't take you for the flaky type," or something like that. Hit her with takeaway. Yeah, that's kind of my take on that.
What about you? Ethan?
I mean, I would side with Alex, right? But how did he develop that gut feeling? By
Yeah.
pushing it too far. First of all, like
Okay.
pursuing too hard, right? Like I see a lot of guys like, "Oh, you only have to deal with high interest girls." Yeah, show me your results. Show me your fucking results where you're only dealing with high interest girls, and let's put you in front of a hot girl. Let's see how confident you are, right? Because because if you only deal with high interest girls, especially when they never even met you, that high interest is not going to go higher like in time. The only way you can count on it is like, you have to build the investment. You have to still talk a little bit, right? You still have to kind of have a normal conversation so that she has an idea in her head that, okay, if I go on a date with her with this guy, this is how it's going to feel, right? And so the thing, so people need to push a lot before figuring out a happy medium. And a lot of guys are like, "Oh, red pill guy said this, that you never double text even if you have your gun, if you have a gun to your head," right? I've heard so many fucking red pill guys like, "Oh, focus on your purpose and she will double text or some shit." Anyway, that's the biggest thing. uh just by double texting, triple texting, quadruple texting, you're not losing something.
Okay.
Do you have like a fragile ego that you're losing?
That's
You
important.
you are losing nothing, literally nothing. She's not gonna post on Instagram saying, "Haha, this guy double texted me. Haha, this guy triple texted me." No girl is gonna say that. Like, if she's not interested, she's just not gonna reply. Of course, you also have to know that you can't keep pursuing the same day. Of course, you space it out. But the thing
Okay.
is, like, you have to be okay pushing it too far to find out that happy medium, right?
Okay.
Keeping that in mind, you just have to realize if how the investment is. Is she replying consistently, quickly, or is she replying like very sparsely, like once every day or once every 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
Then with her, even if you make plans, even if she agrees, she's probably gonna flake anyway. And
Okay.
with girls like that, what I do is like I'll always have a backup plan. I'll be texting like 3 to 4 girls a day easily, and like I'll always have like a backup plan. That's why it's one of those things where it's like I'm farming a garden, where I'm farming different kinds of plants, and one of them is going to fruit at one time.
Okay.
That's what I do. I don't focus on just one girl. That's why you see me persisting so much, because I don't give a fuck, because the other girls are going to show up anyway. So yeah, that's the way you handle flakes. Just again, numbers game. Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, dude, I didn't know you had a garden.
That's right out.
Can I get some mangoes?
Did you get my mangoes, by the way?
I did get your mangoes, and they're extra green, just the way you like them.
Okay.
The one thing I will add on that is I think you have to be able to discern between a hot and cold girl and a constantly cold girl. So what that means is a constantly cold girl is she's always giving you low investment answers all the way throughout. A hot and cold girl is sometimes she's investing a lot, sometimes she's giving you like one word answer, she's being distant. Big difference. The hot and cold girl, usually you can turn those around because it means there's some interest, some investment, but there's something that's causing her to also drop off. Whereas the girl who's constantly cold, that usually means lack of interest, lack of investment, and you're probably not going to turn those around. So it's very important to discern between those two.
Okay, I like that. How do you establish value to a girl?
Just being myself.
Before and after and during.
I really don't believe in that. You have to like prove value or display value. I go under the assumption that I already have value, and
Okay.
it's just a matter of time before she discovers it. And I truly believe that. Like, I think, minus all my weird hangups and quirks, like I'm fairly awesome. right? And
Yeah.
someone give me some motherfucking validation.
Of course, I think you're awesome.
Here's a 20. All right, so I'll pay you after the show.
I was like, of course.
Oh, anyway,
Please don't beat me, please.
doesn't matter because I think I'm awesome. No, I mean, I just, yeah. So I don't try to display value. I don't try to show to her that I'm a guy with value. What I try to do is I try to build on the day itself. Try to build a lot of sexual tension.
Mhm.
That's my main goal. Build comfort if necessary, if I sense that she's not comfortable, and then optimally go for the close. Pull, get her in my place, optimally close. That's basically what's going through my mind, not like building value. That being said, there are little exceptions. Like, for example, with text, if she's a little bit dropping off, I can sense I don't have enough compliance to get her over, then I might, do some DHVs over text. So one example of that would be, I'll send her, I'll say, hey, how's your day going? She'll be like, oh, good. How about you? I'll be like, good. Just hang out with this guy. And send her a cute picture of Rhaegar, right? Bam, value. Or I'll say, good. Just finish a big workout, looking nice and fit for our date. She'll be like, oh, show me. Send her a nice, sexy app photo, right? So those are some little fun and games I got going on my phone to show value.
He posted a picture on Instagram, and some of my friends follow him on Instagram, and they were like, damn, Nati.
Lucky you.
Who knew
Thirst trap.
the Russian looks so good?
Thirst trap.
I wonder who it was for.
The world. It's mainly dudes that responded to that anyway. It was like all dudes. Hey, bro, looking ripped.
All our
Hey, trouble. Yeah.
34,000
Hey, trouble.
This is for IndianPE because I don't want to know your answer to this. Building a rotation. A few weeks ago, we were talking. Stop laughing. The cameraman, don't distract me. A few weeks ago, we were talking about your changing game. So tell them a little bit about this conversation that we were having and how you changed your game and how is that going for you now?
Yeah. The funny part is, yes, I did change my game a bit. I tweaked it a little bit. In recent times, I've been focusing actually on building value on the date.
Okay.
So I'm noticing where some girls, because of all the persistence I do, of course, they're going to place themselves a wee bit above me, right? Because of all the persistence I'm doing, because it's like you always have to see it as a power dynamic play. But what I've done in actually last 5 closes, I've showed the picture of either the blonde I fucked the 2 months ago, or there's another Vegas girl I fucked 2 years ago, or the Latina I saw for like a couple of months. Yes.
Let's call her your ex-girlfriend.
Just an ex girl, whatever. So I'm showing pictures of them, but not in a very rubbing it in your face, right? Like I would find a way to insinuate it. Like, let's say one of the most recent blonde LR, which was like a persistence LR, a lay report on our website. If you want to go and check it out, it's still there. You'll see, like, I actually asked her to consider yourself a flake, right? And then it was almost like I was like fucking dragging her hand and bringing her to a date, right? And then on the date, this is what I did. I solely focused on building value, showing her that I've fucked hotter girls than her, right? Fuck you. And like she was, it was so funny that when I did that, instantly a face, like an expression changed on her face. She was like, okay, this guy's higher value than me. I'm ready to fuck. Like after that, like 5 minutes later, I was making out and she even said, fuck, I'm so mad. I'm like, what happened? She goes, I'm on my period actually. When a girl says that, you know you're gonna bang. You just have to take it as an objection and be like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about the period. I'm a man who's not bothered by the red fairy. That's our go-to line. And yeah, that's what I've been doing. And obviously, like, the sex game is going to be pretty solid there. So yeah, the building value pre-selection, showing pre-selection, and somehow insinuating this is the girl I fucked. Okay. Like I what I'll do is, like, I'll either keep her on the same level or just a bit above. So I have like so many girls I fucked. So I'll have pictures, Instagram profiles, etc.
Isn't that Holly Berry? No.
That's Indian. Ali Kumar.
Ali Kumar. You also mentioned about not looking or not coming across as kind of desperate? Kind of like give them some space.
Yes. Yeah. That's one more thing where it's like I was trying to rush too much.
Yeah.
Yes, I
not
was rushing with the
it.
closest too much when I'm in person, because I'm like, okay, I'm building the tension. Okay, the attraction is there. I've sexualized, but then there's not that initial initial stroke of value there is, right? And because I added that, like those two things are falling into place. So
Okay.
basically, because I'm adding that value, my
Mhm.
desperation is decreasing, or at least the perceived desperation is decreasing, and that's helping. And also, giving myself a good 3 hour window to close, rather than like a 1.5 hour, 2 hours. Like, you can get really good where when you consistently close girls, but everyone is still learning. I'm still learning this. There's so much to learn.
Okay.
So I still, like, right now it's like, if I'm going on a date, I give myself 3 hours
Okay.
to close, basically. So it's like, even if I pull her 2 hours in, I know, like, in 1 hour I'm still going to close at the house. So yeah.
Perfect. Shit test. How do you know when they're giving you shit test and how to handle it?
How do you know when they're giving you shit test? Well,
What are some of the
are we talking about
key-
over text or in person?
in person?
When a girl's giving you a shit test, it's usually it's not a. So let me explain first what not a shit test is. Not a shit test would be something like, I don't know, like you say, hey, let's go back to my place, right? And the girl says, I don't know, I had a really bad experience going back to a guy's place once. I don't know if I should. That's not a shit test. That's a concern, right? She's
Okay.
concerned that you're going to kill her. So if you treat that like a shit test, or where be like, oh, don't worry, I will only rape you after midnight. Like, yeah, that's. and we are officially demonetized.
I've been so careful not to say that word. I've been so careful.
It was only a matter.
behave.
It was only a matter of time before I was going to fuck it up. By the way, for the record, that's not something I say often. So yeah, you're going to fuck it up. A shit test would be more in that situation. You say, hey, let's go back to my place. She says, your place. I don't know if we should do that. Right? It's more playful. It's more fun.
Okay.
She wants to see how you handle that. Are you going to be like, well, it's going to be okay because blah, blah, blah. Are you get illogical? Are you going to get butthurt? Well, why would you not want to come back to my place? Huh? What's wrong with my place?
Wait, sorry, I interrupt you. So shit tests tend to be more playful?
They tend to be, but not all the time. Sometimes it can be a girl can say it with a straight face. A shit test is when a girl wants to see, she wants to test your frame, she wants to test your resolve and see if you will basically fold under pressure.
So what are the characteristics, because I still don't understand, what are the characteristics of a shit test?
Okay, so
Give me like just
There's not a legitimate concern or objection behind it. It's her testing you, and it's not her legitimately being concerned or objecting to something.
okay. Indian
you know the
PE.
answer. So basically, a shit test is something which is her way of questioning your value, right? If she's like okay, if she makes a joke at Alex's receding hairline, okay, so it's because
established have a perfect hairline.
He has a perfect
And she's
hairline.
she's gonna be like, oh damn, when are you gonna shave that hair, right? If she says
Let's
that,
keep it stuck.
yeah, let's keep it stacked, okay? Real talk, real talk, and then like he can say something. But anyway, so it's one of those things where it's like, again, for me, right? I don't know. I'm not sure. You're Indian, right? I'm like, are you scared my cum is gonna smell like curry or something like that? Like it's, I'm gonna make it really.
So gross.
unpleasant image.
Okay,
I mean,
scarred.
yeah, something like that. Like, not that way at least.
Busting a load of chicken masala.
We're all thinking it. He says it, but so basically, it's one of those things. Okay, for me as well, right? If she's like, "Wow, your hair is like so round, so bald. Why did you decide to go bald?" And it's like, "Oh, I wanted to be shiny," or some shit like that. Like it's like
Okay.
making a joke out of it, right? Because it's something anyone would feel insecure about. The same thing like when you see a bald guy walking, they split their hair towards the right to cover that thing, right? That means it shows that he's insecure. So it's one of those things where it's like she's testing you if you're actually secure or not.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
That's
I will just add, it can definitely be all that, but it doesn't necessarily need to be that. I think it can be just her questioning your resolve and questioning your frame. It doesn't need to be her necessarily questioning your value. So, for example, when she says in the example I gave, like your place, I don't know if we should do that. That's not her questioning your value. That's her questioning your frame and your resolve. How are you going to react to that?
For all our viewers, how would you answer to that?
To the
Yeah,
If we
like-
have to go back to our place.
like she says, "Oh, I don't know if we should go back to your place yet." I would say, "Oh, don't worry, we're only gonna go there for like 2 minutes. I'm a virgin anyway, so we'll keep it PG."
okay.
I'll kind of match her vibe. Usually, I answer with humor and sarcasm.
Mhm.
That
Or
most
go
of the time.
opposite direction, basically, yeah.
How to keep it cost efficient? Because you have a lot of younger guys who are in college, or
We have a lot of Jews. Let's just
how
just.
to keep dating cost efficiency? How to keep, because
I'm half Jewish, so I can say that. Go ahead.
how to keep like a date.
Oh, just
cost efficient?
invite her straight to your place, or just take her to a bar nearby that's like cheaper.
Okay.
Pretty easy.
Okay, that's.
I mean, the
Anticlimactic.
unfortunate part is like
I was expecting something more. I don't know.
I mean,
No,
the
it's easy.
unfortunate part is like dating is costly, right? It is not going to be like cost efficient. Like it's especially if you actually want to keep talking to girls, if you want to keep dating more girls, you're gonna have to do a lot of first dates. You're in on first dates, yeah.
first
You're
dates.
gonna have to like get a couple of drinks, and I mean,
drink, $15.
Maybe
One
take
drink,
them,
yeah.
Maybe
$30.
take them when it's ladies' night and they drink for free.
happy hour, ladies' night,
Happy
and
hour,
the
ladies' night. I mean, that was the question I was expecting. From
yeah,
you.
and the first drink.
I usually bring my kava to my dates, so I'm good on this.
That is too Jewish. But
Too Jewish.
but another thing is like you could say you could try to only keep it at one drink and you sip it very, very slow,
Okay.
right? So she's under the pressure that, oh, I don't want to drink more than him.
Yeah.
And then after like the first drink, you can be like, you know what, let's just take a walk. I feel like taking a breath, taking a fresh air. And then you can actually do that. And then she's not into like wanting to get another drink, because by that time you kind of gamed yourself in anyway.
Let me share. Okay, I'll share my 2013 Alex was broke first date strategy that involves you spending no more than $3. So this is how you spend $3 on a date. This is what you do. This is like some shit straight out of the dentist system. So you have the girl meet you at a bar nearby. That bar needs to be next to a coffee shop. So then what I would do is I meet her at the bar, right? She's like, "Oh, this is a nice place. Yeah, we're going to a nice bar, right?" And then we get to the bar, meet her outside. Be like, "Oh, just meet her outside." Meet her at the bar. Be like, "Hey, I want to get something. Follow me real quick." So I take her to the to whatever it was, a Coffee Bean. It's like a California chain, same thing as Starbucks. And I would be like, I would just get a tea for myself, like a big ass tea, $2.95. I'd be like, "Oh, you want anything?" She'd be like, "No, I thought we were doing drinks." I'm like, yeah, no, we are. And then we go back to the bar. I already had my tea in my hand, so that was my excuse for not getting a drink. And then she got a drink, but why would I pay for that? Because it's already like it's her drink. I'm not drinking. So then she would pay for the drink. Yeah, that's how I would spend $3, on the date. And it actually worked fairly well. This one girl gave me shit, but most of the time I worked out just fine. Now, obviously, I wouldn't really do that nowadays because I'm not broke anymore, but you can get away with a lot of shit. That's the point here.
I kind of regret that question. So let's move on to I like your answer better. It's less douchey. Let me compose. Okay, let's move to relationships, because a lot of guys have been asking, like, why don't you touch a little bit more like on relationships, etc. And something that I find being in a relationship with you, Alex, is your frame control. You have excellent frame control. Every time we have like an argument, which is not very often, we only have like 2 arguments, when I come super prepared and I just bombard Alex with all this information and all these proofs that I have, and I'm like, here, this is what I found, and this is what I found, and this is what I found. And I go Latina crazy on you. You're always able to really like keep your cool. So how do you maintain frame control? Because I feel that a lot of men, when they're in a relationship, they feel that they're always on the losing end. Because we women, we know. Here's a woman beater right here.
All right, let's be careful with that allegation there. That's a
Threatened to beat me up.
But remember, he has the only CD drive in Miami. We got to stay on his good side, okay? I'm going to need to upload files again, okay? Now, when you guys get computers that have CD drives, we can cut them off. But for now, we got to stay on his good side.
No, Alex does not hit me.
Anyway, so the question was frame control. How do I keep good? Well, okay, going back to the getting into fight thing, that goes back to what I was saying, emotional mastery. So there's been times where I was like sort of on the verge of losing my cool, but then I'm very good at calming myself down like right away. So if I sense that I'm starting to raise my voice, I can just like very much like calm myself down pretty fastly, pretty
How
fast.
do you calm yourself down?
Emotional mastery, like I have pretty good control of my emotions.
How do you acquire emotional mastery?
It's a good question. I mean, I think a lot of it is just like triggering yourself and then riling yourself back in. Like, I think cold approach is really good for that because you go out, you get rejected, your emotions are like, fuck this. And then you just settle yourself down and you just practice just reining in on your emotion. You're basically developing, I guess, the frontal lobe part of your brain that has like strong control. And believe me, I'm not there's other elements that you guys, neither of you guys have seen me in where I do lose my cool. They're just not related to like women or dating.
Didn't I see it the other day?
Wait, with what?
With a phone call, usually with customer care.
No.
Oh, customer care does piss me.
To the fucking
Dude,
customer.
because Verizon is like literally Guantanamo Bay. Okay, calling Verizon is on par with Guantanamo.
Didn't I see it? Remember when?
Well, no, what happened? You can say it. I don't care.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
With us, no.
With the video you guys showed me.
In that case, yeah. But it wasn't around you. It was. We showed you a video of me losing my cool. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
No, I've never seen you lose your cool. So emotionally,
Yeah,
mastery.
I'm pretty good. I'm not perfect at it. Yeah, emotional mastery, but frame control. A lot of it, I just also believe I'm right. So I just like, how do I get that other person to see?
How do I manipulate these other?
Not manipulate, but
see?
how do I persuade them into seeing my perspective and seeing that I'm right? I mean, I do the same thing when I'm like debating someone. Like, when last night we had a debate with like the Rolo fanboy. I shouldn't call him a Rolo fanboy, but it just sounds better. A Rolo fan. So, like I'm like, okay, he's coming in pretty heavy. He's like, oh, you guys are, competing from Rolos, awesomeness, blah, blah. Okay. How do I get him to come around? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask him a series of questions. Usually my frame control involves asking questions, not making statements. I do the same thing with you. Okay, let's do this. So blah, 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 blah. And then I ask a series of directed questions that gets them to realize my point of view and then realize why my point of view may be right. But you also have to you show empathy. You have to acknowledge what they're saying. You can't just like dismiss it, right? I have to be like, okay, I understand what you're saying. I think a lot of that also comes from doing sales. I think portion of it comes from doing sales because you go into people are so rude when you're trying to sell them shit. Like they feel like they have all this power over you. So I go into knock on a client's door. We're not interested. Okay, so let me ask you a question. So you'd have to I'll be like, okay, I understand you've had some bad experience, but let me ask you just one quick question before I go. And then, sometimes I could just turn it around. We're signing a contract half an hour later. But again, that's just like through, trying to understand their perspective, getting them to understand my perspective, and just bringing their point of view to align with mine, usually through a series of questions and statements, sometimes anecdotes. But I like questions.
IndianPE, you have a very good system on your yes, no.
Don't keep the mic so close to your mouth.
Okay.
Okay.
You have a yes, no system. Tell us about that when you're looking for a relationship.
Oh, like red flags, green flags?
You told me you have like a yes, a no, and maybes.
Oh.
How many yes do you need to have? How many no's?
Okay. So
the
one
yes,
of the
no ratio and the maybes. How?
So it's one of those things where it's like there's a lot of non-negotiables, negotiables, and absolutely yeses.
Okay.
Right? If you push the yeses under the rug, you're hurting yourself because you're compromising, right?
Okay.
And compromising causes resentment. Resentment causes lashing out. right?
Mhm.
So I think the yeses should not be like overlooked upon, right? So let's take my example, right? My yes was my yes, like I still have that yes. If I'm bringing like if I'm choosing to hang out with a girl, right? If I'm like taking her out, and I will do that like, with a chick. If I'm like taking her out, buying drinks and shit, like if I'm taking her to dinner, etc. I want her to do something in return, right? Doesn't have to be everything. Doesn't have to be every time. But then it's like if I'm trying to make her life easy, she needs to find a way to make my life easy, and not just by sex, because sex is so abundant.
Yeah, we're talking about relationships. Here.
Yes, relationships.
Okay.
Exactly, relationships. For banging, like my standards go. I mean, not looks wise, but but the yeses can be the yeses become the yeses become negotiables when it comes to
Okay.
banging a girl. So yeah, you need to have yeses. Let's just pick out three yeses. Pick out three non-negotiables. I mean, basically yes and non-negotiables is the same. Three negotiables and three you don't give a fuck about. Like you basically, and that's like a case by case basis. Like if a girl, let's say a girl drinks too much, but then she doesn't like get emotional, or she gets into fights with she doesn't get into fights with people. So her drinking doesn't really affect anything.
What
So
if she calls you in the middle of the night and tells like I decided I'm gonna become a smoker from now on? Those are one of my antics with Alex.
Yeah, you just ignore them.
I mean, those are obviously you can just ignore because it's a drunk personality, and drunk personalities actually shouldn't be like taken too seriously unless it becomes a liability.
I find drunk people so annoying. Like when people are wasted, at least most of them, they're like either want to bro out or they want to talk about the same thing for hours.
You don't find me endearing and adorable?
When you're drunk, no.
I thought you found me
I
endearing.
don't find
and
anyone
I don't find any girl
adorable
adorable
when
when she's
drunk.
drunk,
Not even
I'm
dudes.
the funniest drunk person I've ever met. I'm not
That's
gonna
what
lie.
every single drunk says that.
Let's ask my friends if I'm the funniest drunk person they've ever met.
There's a great scene in Beer Fest where he's like drunk and he looks like everything's so smooth and he's like running this perfect game and he like pulls this chick and then the end day it's like it's a flashback and just shows what was in reality. He's like all sloppy and shit and he's like slurring his words and he wants to bang like a fatty. You have to like see the scene, but that's a great movie by the way, Beer Fest.
I have to see it.
Yeah.
What are red flags to look for? Because I feel like a lot of men
Need to have a need, yeah.
they oversee the red flags a lot. Universal. Do not give me your like preferences. No, give me universal red flags.
Can we give
That-
preferences and universal ones?
Yeah, I mean, but I rather have universals.
Okay.
Okay. Lying. Catch her in a lie. That's very slippery slope. Now, the severity of the lie makes a difference. If it's a little white lie, that's one thing. But like a significant lie, that's a big one. Any kind of dishonesty or cheating or anything
Well,
like that
isn't that like lying?
can be. That would be two big ones. Any kind of emotional manipulation or playing games or her constantly testing you. Yeah, no. Like if a girl's constantly trying to test you, don't put up with that shit. And we're talking about emotionally mainly. Those are the three big ones I have at the top of my head. If she's playing games, like if she's like she tries to use sex as a power play, she tries to use sex as like a way to get you to do something, that's a hard no.
Mind you, relationships. We're talking about
Yeah,
relationships.
relationships. Yeah. If a girl's like, well, I'll have sex with you after you throw out the trash, goodbye.
I'll throw the trash and then I'll throw myself out.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw the trash out and then you're gonna throw yourself out. Yeah.
Okay,
So those are the four off the top of my head.
I would agree there. Another thing is jealousy tactics. The like that's a huge one, which you just if you don't if you overlook it, you're fucking yourself up. Like my example for mine, right? She was like, "Oh, someone sent me flowers. Step up your alpha game." That's what my ex said. And the other one was like, we weren't like exclusive or whatever, right? But then even without me asking, she was, "Oh, I went on a date yesterday." I didn't ask you. Well, why are you telling me? So those are like manipulative tactics, basically.
Wait, no, because I tell Alex everything that's going on in my life.
But it's like an established thing, right? It's like,
So no, he doesn't want to know. But I'm like, hey, how do I get rid of this guy who I give my number? And he's like,
Okay,
why
so
do you
that's-
give
that's a
guys
different
your
thing.
number. And I'm like, I don't know. I fell under the pressure. I fell under the pressure. And I'm like, hell, what do I say?
I think that's completely.
I'm
okay.
not interested. I don't know. Let's try that one.
It's super easy. Yeah.
But like, see, like I tell Alex all these things, even if he
Yeah,
doesn't
But
want to
it's
know.
different because you're not trying to tell those things to me
To make
manipulate
him
me,
jealous.
to
Yeah,
get me to do
exactly.
something.
You're just telling
You're
him
just- yeah, you're-
Okay,
to
'cause I
give
don't wanna-
information, like information without expecting anything in return.
yeah, it's like-
Meanwhile, the girl, like, she did that to create that competition anxiety in me.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
That was her intent.
So how do you differentiate between my intent, which is to tell my boyfriend that, hey, how do I get rid of this guy who I felt pressured
Well,
to
I
be
mean,
my
the difference is right there.
Well,
you
what's
see.
your intent when you tell me that? Is your intent to be transparent, just honest, or is your intent to get something out of me?
My intent is always to be transparent and honest.
Exactly.
But,
So it depends
but
on the
how do
intent.
you know what their intent is? How do you know if they're coming from a good place or they're coming from a shitty place?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like hard to answer. I guess it depends on case by case basis.
Case by case basis, plus also like the overall way the person is like if she only does that once, meanwhile everything else about her is fine, then probably it's not a big deal. But if there's a lot of things which point towards her having such kind of mentalities where she needs to create competition anxiety to try and keep a guy because that's how she views, that's the way she can keep a guy around, then it's a different one, because she's creating that so that the guy doesn't go and fuck another chick. Meanwhile, it actually scares away a lot of guys, and he'll go and fuck another chick.
Okay. I find that funny that you guys didn't mention if she doesn't offer to pay after
Oh, I
like
don't care.
5 or 3 dates. I think that's kind of like a red flag. If she
Mm.
never offers to pay anything after a few times of dating.
Yeah, if she's trying to if I feel like she's trying to use me for my money,
Yeah,
but
that's
that would be one if I get that sense.
That's a universal red flag because people should want to be with
I've
you.
honestly just never had that happen. But yeah, that is one.
I've had that twice. Yeah.
When they never
Twice,
offer,
but, like,
when they never ever offer.
I just
to
think
pay.
chicks look at me and they're like, "Yeah, this guy. I'm not gonna get
Yeah,
shit.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
not gonna get shit from this guy." So they're like, "Fuck it." How many more questions you got on that little list of yours, young
Big
lady?
list. Big list for a little girl.
Five or 3 universal qualities. Universal. I don't want to hear what you want. I want to hear universal
Universal good qualities.
qualities
Okay.
that every man should look for in a girl, except for looks. Take away
Did we
looks.
just answer that?
No, you answer the red flags. I
Oh.
want to have green flags.
It would be the opposite of the red flags, right?
Kind of simple, but
Okay.
Like when I say, look for red flag dishonesty. So
Yeah.
green flag honesty.
Transparency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
it
the
would just be
opposite.
yeah.
Okay, this is a good one, and I personally struggle a lot with this. Boundaries, setting healthy boundaries. I'm very how do you don't go on my side where I'm super strict about my boundaries, and you don't become a pushover, and on the other side where which I think a lot of men struggle with, where they become pushovers. So how do you establish that middle ground, that healthy middle?
Very good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. Think respect yourself, and probably respect yourself more than you respect the girl. Honestly, I'll let you go first. I'm the marinade on that.
I mean, so basically, yeah. I mean, knowing yourself, realizing what are your boundaries, and kind of asserting them in a very non-emotional way, right? Let's say your girl is she's acting bitchy at you or something like that. Hey, I actually did not like what you just did there. Can you sorry, I just do not like it. Right? You can bring it up that way, and a lot of guys, if they have that as a boundary, they might go a bit overboard, where it's get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna Frank Castle you or something like that, right? So you don't want to go that far. Yes, you should have boundaries, but your boundaries are not going to be respected if you are emotional about asserting those boundaries. Your boundaries are only going to be respected when they are shown with respect, because you're also respecting the person hey, I do not like what you just did there. And like, you're telling her straight up, giving it like honesty, and then you're looking her in the eye. She's going to fully respect it, and she's never going to step on it. I had this similar situation with that girl too. She was throwing a tantrum at me, right? And I was like actually working for once. I was actually working, and she was basically okay. She was just wearing like a t-shirt and a pair of shorts, right? So she was feeling naked, and I had my roommate in the other room, and she was like, "Hey, can you please?" At first, she was like, "Hey, can you get me tea?" Right? I'm like, "Okay, I'm finishing this up, and I'll go get it," right? Because of course she's naked. She doesn't want to come naked in front of my ex roommate. And I was like, "I'll finish this and then I'll go," right? And then like 2 minutes later, she's not even waiting. "Can you please get me tea?" I'm like, "Hey, let me finish this," right? And then she gets up, she slams the bathroom door. She goes, "You don't do anything for me." I'm like, "What?" Right? So that's
Escalated
too much.
rather quickly.
Yeah, so that's too much. She's escalating, and meanwhile you're actually working. This is something serious. You don't want to, you don't want someone to like push you over, right? And then when she came back, I was like, "Hey, what you just there, I do not like it." And she goes, "Okay, I'm so sorry, and then she never ever did that. So it's one of those things. It's like, I'm just giving you guys an example. Yeah, that's how you assert boundaries. Meanwhile, you take Fresh and Fit for example, right? When a girl says something even slightly disrespectful, who gets super butter, right? And it's so evident, and that's why the girls feel like they can get away with being disrespectful at him, right? They're gonna fuck off. This podcast is nothing. This podcast is shit. That's never gonna happen here, right? Because we will treat everyone with respect. But yeah, side comment.
I was just about to Frank Castle the dog. He was disrespecting me by not giving me a hug. Anyway,
Were you able to marinate on your answer?
I marinated, but
But
the sauce is not. No, I mean I think Nitin summed it up. IndianPE summed it up pretty well.
I do want to add up that there's some boundaries that are just non-negotiable. That once the girl, and it's important for you to know the difference between things that you can be like, okay, I'm gonna be able to tolerate it, maybe once, maybe twice, but there are things that are just non-negotiable.
A lot of it.
Yeah, you have a big list of non-negotiable things. Involves someone like showing up 30 seconds late, non-negotiable.
No, I'm not like that.
Oh, let's. Do we have the thing?
Remote.
Yes. We need to
Is that the remote?
click it on that. There we go.
I'm not like that. No.
Back
Don't
to the
give me
logo.
a bad reputation, Alexander. But yeah, like there are some boundaries that are non-negotiable for sure, and that you shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Like, yeah, there are definitely some things that are non-negotiable.
So it's important to really like think about them and communicate it before they ever happen.
And-
So that when you're
I'm just not a big fan of like sitting down, like my potential partner, and being like, okay, so let me tell you all the things
no,
that
but
piss
like
me
it's
off.
something that comes up. It's something like it comes up. It's
Yeah,
like,
if it comes
look,
up,
I
I'll
don't
definitely
tolerate it.
directly address it.
I
But,
will never,
but
like-
a lot of the non-negotiable ones are kind of common sense.
No, they're not.
Like for me, like a non-negotiable one would be like
Because,
you
like-
banging him. Like I think that's
but
common sense.
But yours, you go to an extreme.
That's an
Go
extreme
to an
example, I would
extreme.
say,
Like you
yeah.
go to an
I
extreme
know. He's
example.
bald, he's Indian,
There-
but like,
for me, not lying, it's a non-negotiable, and you would think like, oh yeah, well, but
well, it
for
depends
you,
on severity.
transparency, it's not part of dishonesty, and to me, transparency.
It just depends the
dishonesty, so-
intention of the lie. But anyway, that's like a whole thing. we don't
Okay,
disagree
so
on.
I think it's important to communicate it. I don't know. That's one. Let's talk about open relationships. That's something that we do get asked about. We're not gonna go too in depth about our relationship, but
So which relationship are we going to go in depth on about? IndianPEs and Rhaegars or who?
no, like just like like what are you think like there's like conversations that people should have when it comes to, well, one, you don't think that it's substantiable to have a one-way open relationship.
Wait, what?
You don't think it's substantiable. Tangible, yes. There we go. Let's say that word.
It's
Or the foreign girl.
Sustainable.
I think the word you're looking for is sustainable.
There we go.
You fucking
There we go.
immigrants.
I know. We fucking I mean, what can I say?
It's
20
I mean,
years
I
living
guess-
in this country.
I guess everyone here is an immigrant. besides the dog.
And besides
like-
the
From Siberia.
cameraman.
Yeah, that's true. Besides the camera guy. No, not necessarily. Think that quite often jealousy and resentment builds up. If someone, if there's an inherent unfairness, but as long as things are fair, and it's fair is
Mhm.
very subjective. This doesn't have to be an objective fairness. It just means that both parties think it's fair, then things are gonna be okay. But
Okay.
even it doesn't matter if the world thinks it's unfair, as long as you two think it's fair.
Okay.
But so and that can be anything. So as long as you two think there's some kind of fair thing there, then yeah, I think it can work.
Conversations that you should have.
Like with a girl you're about to date? Or?
No, you're in an open relationship. What are some conversations you should have?
I don't know what conversations do we have. Like
We did have one where we.
just communicating what you want and what you don't want. I guess.
Yeah, I think that's important, right?
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
And how do you want to experience it? What are the things that work for you? And what are the things that maybe won't work for the person, right?
Yeah, I mean, just going over what you want, what you don't want. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, I think.
And how do you deal with different approaches? Meaning that, for example, you and I have different styles. I do want to know. You don't want to know.
You do want to know. I don't want to know.
Exactly. And how do you deal with those different approaches? Because sometimes I find myself kind of like,
I mean, that's when he probably says, right, like, it's okay. I don't want to know, or he probably just changes.
Wait. I'm confused by the question. Say again.
how do you deal with different approaches? Like, let's say, like one example I gave you is, for example, I want to know, you don't want to know. Another example is the way we live it. Like, there are things that don't bother me, and there are things that may bother you.
By communicating it. I mean,
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
that's not. So
I feel like it's pretty.
anticlimactic.
No,
I feel it's so anticlimactic.
No, I know, but I just feel like it's a very basic question. Just communicate that, like you would communicate. Like if you sense that there's an issue coming up, you sense that someone's brooding, and be like, hey, like what's up? What's going on? Like tell me, and then you just talk it out. You just try to understand where the other person is coming from. You explain your perspective, and then you reach some kind of amicable conclusion. Then you bang it out afterwards. I mean, I think
Okay.
it's pretty straightforward.
What do you think, IndianPE?
I mean, based on my experience,
Based on my open relationship.
Open.
He gets jealous of the dog part.
I don't know, like,
Different approaches in how like everyone deals with things.
I'm probably not the best guy for this. I don't have an ongoing open relationship, so
Okay, this is a good one for IndianPE because Alex is not gonna give us the answer that we want. So, how do you deal with jealousy?
oh, actually, I'm the least jealous person.
Oh my freaking god!
yeah,
What is
I've
going
like,
on with these two guys?
I've had complaints from like a few girls saying like, "You're not even jealous. Do you even like me?" I'm like, "What?" Yeah, I like you, but it doesn't really affect me because, I mean, this may be crossing the line of like delusionness, right? But for me, it's always like if I'm seeing a girl consistently, I know I'm the best fucking option. That's it. Like maybe it's not completely true at all, but it's like I'll at least make myself believe it.
So be
Fuck you.
delusional.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, yeah, if she meets another guy, it doesn't really matter because what's going to change if she was going to go anyway, like if she let's say elopes with that guy, or like she escapes with that guy, or like she stops seeing me, I'm like, okay, well, I truly never had her anyway, so it's like a win-win situation.
Okay.
Right, it's like, okay,
That's
well,
a
I don't if she stays, it's like, okay, if she went out, saw options and came back, which reinforces my mindset about me being the best option, or she leaves, that means, okay, well, it reinforces my saying that, okay, that was a bit too delusional, but in the end it's like a win-win. Okay, I must have made mistakes, so it's also about like taking responsibility for it.
So self-confidence.
Yeah,
It's the best
self-confidence.
way to deal with jealousy.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard with that question because me and IndianPE are naturally just not jealous people. I've just never been jealous.
Okay. Yeah, you're the least controlling person I know. So that's
I just don't give a fuck. I give a little bit of a fuck.
how to keep things interesting. when you're hearing that, like,
Oh.
I'm sick of this girl.
I don't know how to answer that question without going deep into our personal sex life.
IndianPE, please. I'll have to keep things
I
interesting.
mean, for me, it's like pushing her limits and pushing my limits, right?
Okay.
I mean, a lot has to do with the sex. I will do a lot of shit. Like I will ask her to wear like schoolgirl lingerie for me for like
Okay.
maid outfit. We'll do role plays. So spicing things up in the bedroom, and that chemistry just creeps out into like the outside as well. Like for me, it's like keeping things interesting is like I love trying out new restaurants, right? And then if a girl is like consistently in my life, then I will take her out. I'll eat like good food, and like now and then I will go to the club. But I mean, from now on, I will not go to a club.
Journey.
And yeah, treat my fitness journey like shit,
Like
and then go back. Yeah, it's a circle.
the
Like
circle of
I become
life.
skinny, I become skinny fat, I become skinny, I become skinny fat.
The circle of life.
Circle of
life continues.
So trying new things.
It's trying new things, yeah.
exploring, role play.
Yes, plus also not, I would say, like not involving each other too much into your daily lives. You gotta have
That's a good
to
one.
have that boundary where it's like, okay, 2 out of 7 days we are with each other. Other times, like
Yeah,
you have
that's
your
a
own
good
life,
one.
I have my own life,
I
because that way
understand.
it's like, oh, you guys are eager to see each other again. You have to do that. So if you keep just staying with her for like 7 times a day, the novelty is going to wear off way too quickly.
Yeah.
And that novelty, because it wore off too quickly, the relationship also wears off too quickly.
Yeah.
I think it also helps if you got like shit that you're busy with, and so then like when you hang out with your girl, it's like more like
Focus on your purpose.
relaxing. Yeah, I know, relaxing. But seriously, I would agree with that. It's more like
Yeah.
relaxing downtime. And also helps if you guys have like a passion or something in common that you can both like enjoy doing. Like for us, we got like my YouTube channel. I always really get off on you sending me texts about like ideas for content and whatnot. I'm like, oh.
It just comes back to the fact that I'm your biggest fan, but it's not.
Fangirl.
Yep.
I gotta get you a T-shirt for the 21 convention.
I am super supportive of my men. Let's
Number
just
number
say
one
that.
fan,
I am your number one fan.
and we'll get my dad one that says number 2 fan, but it'll be all in pink.
Okay, perfect. I agree with you on the, and I think that's something that we do very well. That we're really not. We don't see each other all the time, and we're not into each other's space all the time, and
For
we're
sure.
very respectful. I mean, we're
though
very.
Nati's too nosy. She's
Oh,
like,
I'm a nosy. I'm as nosy.
Yeah,
as
she's
you
very
get.
nosy.
I'm very
What happened?
very curious.
And I'm naturally not nosy about things that don't involve me because I just don't give a fuck about other people's stuff.
And I get him
If it involves
involved,
me, I'm pretty nosy. But if
and I
it doesn't,
involve him in all my my curiosity will be yes. And I'm like, how did it go with IndianPE's date? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? Let's like IndianPE, how did it go? And the answers they give me are so anticlimactic. It's like
they usually are.
I know, but
what?
give me a story, give me something.
What it's like? Okay, when I only banged like 20 girls in my life, back then everything was interesting. Now it's like, okay, I meet, I have fun, I bang, I have fun, and they're like, okay, I'll see her again, maybe. Yes, maybe I will, maybe I will not. That's it.
Give me something, please.
It's like, okay, well, that's it. Meanwhile, if it's like a bad date or something, okay, yeah, there's some interesting, but I don't want to be part of bad dates. I've walked out on a girl recently too. So
that's it for moi, you guys.
Oh shit! All right, how many live viewers do we have? Andrew?
We have 87.
87. All right, let's double that number by 3, and we are good. All right, let's take some questions.
Okay.
82. They're like, fuck this guy.
maybe they thought we were ending. I don't know.
Give me like a minute just to find the right one to keep talking.
Keep scrolling to the top.
Yeah, no, I
So let us talk about how much I annihilated Rolo last night.
Okay.
My favorite topic. No. It was a 4-hour live stream. You have to watch it. It was good though.
We had a lot of concurrent viewers yesterday because I mean, it was pretty good, pretty solid.
It was good. I mean, it was 4 hours in, and we were only
That's the most
halfway.
we've ever done.
It was by far the most, and we were only halfway through his.
Someone asked you.
Oh no! Can you
Oh,
put up on the screen?
Yeah. Put on the screen before. Yeah. So someone asked you to give some examples of your boundaries.
Of my boundaries?
Your boundaries, yeah.
Oh shit. I hate dishonesty. I hate anyone who's aggressive. I don't tolerate insults. What other boundaries do I have? Dishonesty, aggressiveness. Alex is looking at me and he's like, I know you have plenty more.
Yeah, you got a shitload.
What other boundaries do I have? Just those two. Disrespect.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, that sums it up. But I'm very strict about, like, I don't look at people's intentions. I just look at their actions.
That's the difference between her and I. I'll look at intentions.
He looks at intentions. I don't give a fuck about intentions. I catch you like in a lie or lack of transparency.
We've debated this a bazillion times, like whether intentions are important or not.
Like I recently had like a thing where I stopped talking to someone very close to me because they lied to me, and Alex is like, "You're overreacting, babe. You're being unreasonable."
It's not like a dude who's trying to bang her. It's like, let's just give context because people are going to assume the worst.
Yeah, people. So I stopped talking to one of my cousins because they promised me something. They promised me that they will tell me about a situation about another relative who's sick. And they lied to my face.
I told her she was overreacting because their intention was good. Their intention was to prevent her from pain.
But what if my relative had died?
But that didn't
and
happen.
They took that away from me. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll ask you this. Actually, I wanted to ask you. So let's say there's $1 million in that room, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I will not tell you that there's $1 million there, mm-hmm. but I'll tell you a lie to get you into that room. How would you feel?
That's different, IndianPE. But like, how would you feel? No, it's not the same. It's not the same. That's different because it doesn't. It's like a surprise. You know, like it's like, oh, Nati, like there's like it's like a surprise.
This was a surprise too.
This is not a surprise.
This is a pleasant surprise.
This is
no one died.
A blatant lie. They lied to me. They blatantly promised me that they will be transparent and honest to me about this information, mm-hmm. and they lied to me in my face.
Oh, let's keep it on point. We're going off topic.
She gave the boundaries.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I have a ton of questions, but I mean, this
gotta be so
interesting from a girl, I suppose. She says, as a girl, I'm curious how to deal with higher profile, successful guys with many options, how to show interest and stand out without being another fangirl, or it's only in his control. Question.
Okay. For a girl, I think that one of the best things you can do is get as hot as possible. And I know it sounds like kind of like mean or whatever, but it's true. Like, you know, men are attracted to beauty, at least initially. After, you know, start dating someone, then substance comes more. Like, if you want to catch a guy's, you know, let's say you got like nice boobs, like show them off, you know. It doesn't mean you have to like fucking strip down naked, but you do want to like accentuate your best features, so as to speak. I think most girls are really good at that as well. That would be the first thing. The second thing I would say is there's absolutely no harm in you showing interest directly. I find it very flattering, actually, and I think a lot of guys do. Just going up to the guy and saying literally, like, I don't know what the context is, but going up to the guy and saying, hey, this is really random, but I thought you were cute, and I wanted to see if you want to maybe grab coffee sometime. Like, that is very flattering, and a lot of guys will really appreciate you doing something like that. At the very least, you'll get to the bottom whether he likes you or not, because believe me, if he doesn't like you, there's nothing you can do in this time frame aside from maybe like doing a radical physical transformation. You know, if you're like overweight and becoming skinny and getting big tits, that's going to make him notice you, right? It's not like you can like weasel your way in. Like, none of that stuff is going to make a difference. So you might as well just be direct and figure out whether he likes you or not. And if he doesn't, then you just move on to the next guy. And there's going to be some guys that do like you. So that'd be kind of my take on that.
All right. Another question. Any suggestions for a girl saying you look young as a shit test?
Might not be a shit test.
Yeah. First of all, it might not be a shit test for some girls. It's actually a non-negotiable. So I've dealt with it in terms of like, wow, you like you're this young, but you come across like old or something like that, right? So it's better you can be like, yeah, I've actually dated older girls than me. They're so much more fun. With younger girls, they don't bring a lot to the table, and older women are the ones who can actually keep up with my sex drive. So it's almost like you are qualifying her on her age, even though she's the one who's testing you for your young age. So you kind of flip it on her. And the other one you could try is like, are you insecure about it, right? Because she's bringing that up because she doesn't want that age gap to be that evident. So you could address address the elephant in the room and try to see if it's actually a concern or it's a non-negotiable.
The question was what again?
Any suggestions for girls?
Yeah, I would say something like if it is indeed a shit test and we're talking about real life, I would say something like, oh, would you prefer if I was old and decrepit? And I would flip it on her. She'd be like, no, I'm not old and decrepit. I'd be like, yeah, exactly. I'm young, fresh, limber. Or do you like those old dudes that need Viagra to get it up? Like I would just completely just annihilate her frame, make it seem like being young is a good thing instead of a bad thing. I live for this shit.
One question I have, Alex, because you and I get a lot of shit for this.
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
By who?
We get some shit from like some people in the comments. Open relationship style. A lot of people think I'm banging other guys. And when people I remember when you did this with Courtney Ryan, and she asked you, and you were like, oh, she like I don't ask her. And one of the guys, I think it's this Sumar, whatever his name is, like, well, how does Alex know she's not sleeping with other guys?
Oh, that guy's a massive troll. I've
Yeah.
challenged him to a debate.
Well, for
Suraj
one,
Kumar, yeah.
for once, I tell Alex
see
everything.
him
I
today.
cannot keep a secret. I'm the most transparent person I know.
Yeah, for the record, she hasn't banged any dudes since we
No, I
started
have
dating.
not. For the records, one, like I'm really not interested because like I don't want to.
It's kind of like you are being emotionally and sexually satisfied. So there's
Yeah, like there's
You don't
really
have an upside
really
to
no
go and sleep with
need
another
for
guy.
me to.
exactly.
And like before they start, well, why is she like in a two-way open relationship? It's nice to have, as a woman, I like psychologically speaking. I don't know if Alex is
Well,
like
let me
good,
explain.
evil
Let
genius.
me kind of explain something to you guys. You have two options, right? When you're in an exclusive relationship with a girl, there's no ironclad guarantee that she's not going to bang other dudes. In fact, 50% of relationships end with the girl banging other dudes or something like that. 40, 50%, whatever. Close enough. So you don't really have a protection of bad. Just by being in an exclusive relationship, you're not minimizing the chances of her banging another dude. All you're doing is minimizing the chances for lying to you about it, right? So by being in an open relationship, it doesn't mean that I'm maximizing the chance of her getting railed out by another guy, right? It's just that it's just the only thing I am maximizing is a chance of honesty and transparency and the chances of her not being resentful towards me. That doesn't mean that she actually goes out and bangs other guys. Like if you keep your girl satisfied, she doesn't actually, most girls won't do that. So yeah, I think that's just like the big misconception that guys have.
Exactly. Another thing, I think it's important for you to open, because I feel like I trust you in a lot of things, and I feel very comfortable in coming up to you and being like, hey, Alex, this is what's going on with me, and this is what's like how I'm feeling right now when it comes to a relationship.
See?
And how can men be more approachable when it comes to that? Because I find
don't judge. Don't be judgmental. That's like the biggest thing. You have to get past the point where you're judging. So where you're just like taking everything just kind of like as is. Don't judge shit. Try
like,
not to be as judging as
I
possible.
mean, it's not easy to hear, like, not that this ever happened to us, but like, let's say that it's not easy to hear from your girl that, hey, I'm bored, or hey, you're just not meeting my emotional needs, or hey, this is what's going on. A lot of guys get defensive because that's not something easy to hear.
Try not to take things personally. Just try to take things.
Okay.
Try to take things, at face value. Like don't think it means something negative about you. Just someone expressing how they feel. I don't think it necessarily has to be a bad thing.
All right, and of course, the next question is thoughts on ass eating.
So, is it really?
Personally, not a fan.
I've done that twice. That's it. That too. The first one, the first one, I was tricked by someone. because I thought it was actually a normal thing, and I was very inexperienced back then. But like, she had a very clean ass. She had a very, very clean
Yo,
ass.
boy, it's gonna taste like
And she was, I mean,
I got really nervous right now.
she got really, I mean, like, she got really fucking wet, and after that, I ate the pussy. It was
How did she trick you into it?
no, she was not. She wasn't.
Pussy and vagina.
She was not the one who
His
tricked.
friend
She was
tricked
not the.
him into it.
Someone else tricked me into it. I'm not gonna say who. The second one was basically to prepare the girl for anal. That was like 2 of my anals ever. But yeah.
Okay, I have a question. So you guys have never gotten done to you?
Fuck no.
Wait,
Don't be weird.
I feel like it's better to have your ass eaten than eat ass. Right? Because at least you're not the at least you're not the one with shit.
It never happened. I've had like girls.
I've never had
offer
either.
me that. I've had girls offer me that, but it's like I have to kiss her later. I'm like eating my own ass. You know, I don't want to do that.
Versus eating her ass.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Man.
That's fine by you, but
It's like, I mean, of course she's gonna clean it. Come on.
I mean,
but you're not gonna clean yours?
Of course I clean mine as well.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm Indian, so we use hand. No, I still use toilet paper.
You use white peas.
Yes, very nice. For anyone who doesn't who forgets to shower, they can use dude wipes. Oh, they're so good.
Oh, I have a pretty funny
But
story.
even like use wipes, please,
Yes.
all the time.
Wipes and toilet
And
paper.
shower every day.
I have a pretty funny story. I did have my ass eaten once, and it was
It
it was an epic fail. Yeah, IndianPE was there. I
Not in the room. Not in the room.
come on, no cap, bro. No cap, bro. Yeah, so what happened was I had, Colombian food. Every time I go to Colombia, I get like fucking stomach problems, and I'm just like shitting half the day. I don't know what you guys put in your water.
It wasn't me, you guys. It
wasn't
me.
her. And so, there's this chick. It was like round 2, and she came over and started hooking up. There's no talk where she didn't speak English. So there was no talk in general, but there was no talk of her eating my ass. She just like went from my balls to my ass, and I was like, "Whoa, there, ma'am!" But she was already doing it, and I'm like, I've just been having massive diarrhea all day, and I'm like thinking about and I'm trying not to laugh. I'm trying not to get grossed out, and then I just sense her in the beginning. She's so like eager, enthusiastic, and she gets into it. I just sense her enthusiasm go, bump, bump, bump. She's just like, I could tell. She's like, oh God.
But, what have I done?
And she stops after like 30 seconds. And like, we just both have this like mental connection of like what happened, but just no one talks about it. And then like, I think later she tried to kiss me, and I was just like, kiss on my cheek. I was like, ew.
Did you guys smashed?
We did. But I was like trying not to laugh during the whole thing.
How can you not be like, how can you, like, I wouldn't be able to continue going on.
Gotta love Colombia.
All right. So
There's actually a lot of questions.
yeah,
You have to scroll all the way
I'm
up.
getting to them. I mean, they've been
Okay.
having them, so I got
Don't be too harsh on our cameraman. It's his first time.
Thank you.
You're doing
I
an
have-
excellent job.
So there's
Mr.
2
Camera.
questions for me. Like scroll up. Does IndianPE have his own YouTube?
Okay, but that's not a real.
I
Okay.
mean, like obviously no, but people you gotta tell. What's IndianPE's lake account? I love answering this always. As of 2 days ago, 175. But yeah.
I wasn't sure actually if you wanted to answer this. That's why I skipped it. But
Oh, we can answer any question. I
Yeah,
don't
any
know.
question.
all
But
right.
there's a lot actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone asked with the well, I can't remember now, but it was about the deepfake if it got
Oh.
like a dramatic
So Command F and search for the deepfake. Just deepfake.
Yeah, just gotta put it on the screen because people rewatching it. It'll be
yeah.
easier
Well,
for them.
let me look for it. But in the meantime, I'll put this one up.
No, so you can just search and then you can.
Okay, right. But let me put this one up and I'll look it up. Okay, question about persistence when texting a girl. How far do you all usually go in terms of trying to get past flakes and no responses? Sometimes my persistence got me delay, other times it was a waste.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of addressed that initially, but there you have it. I mean, it won't work every time, but I think when you're a beginner, you want to, push the limit, and then as you get better, as you develop this kind of like spidey sense, then you can kind of realize when to back off. But I think what you're doing, you're being persistent with every girl, and sometimes it's working out, sometimes it's not. That's just part of the game. So I don't think you need to modify anything.
You said Control F.
Command F.
Command F.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let me just see if I can find more in the meantime. They go to a lot of other countries. Do you think that the girl? Okay, fine. This guy says that he prefers gaming in the US because the girls are more culturally aware, smarter, up to date, and less conservative. A lot of other countries are super traditional, and that's kind of annoying. Do you agree?
Depends on which countries we're talking about, but I will take South America or Central America, Eastern Europe all day, every day over America. I have not been to Southeast Asia. I have heard good things, but just out of the places I've been to, which is Eastern Europe and South America, I would gladly prefer those to America all day, every day. Like it's not even close. And where else are you gonna have your fucking diarrhea ass eaten? You think that? Do you think that happens in America?
Okay. How do you approach a girl at the gym? Do you go for the number on first interaction? My concern is if you get rejected, it'll be awkward because you'll see her there all the time.
Oh, remember that's how I met my last boyfriend. And remember the gym guy who
We shall not discuss such things. What was the question exactly?
how do you approach a girl at the gym? We have a video on that.
Well, no, actually, talk about how that guy approached you.
The gym guy.
Yeah.
I was working out. He was checking me out, and before I left, he just like tapped me on my back, and he was like, "Hey, I think you're really pretty. Can I have your number?" And that's that. And I gave him my number, and then I texted Alex on how to get rid of him and not make it awkward for me.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend a little bit more banter before getting the number. Like, I just think that's too quick, because then you don't really know much about their personality. I like to have like at least a minute or two of banter before going for the number.
And how you don't make it awkward? How do you don't make it awkward?
I think you have to abandon this idea of like, oh, how do I not make it awkward? Just accept the fact that some of these things will be awkward, and that's okay. By worrying about not making it awkward, you're probably going to make it more awkward.
Exactly.
So I would don't give a shit if it's awkward or not. Not giving a fuck is a good way to tone down the awkwardness, but sometimes things just get awkward. It is what it is. Like, who gives a shit? You just ignore them. I mean, I've like, LA Fitness where I used to go, like I've approached many girls there, and like 2/3 of them did not give me their number. So I guess in a way it's kind of awkward. I just don't give a shit. I don't know. I'm just like, so, and then I just do my thing. I think giving a fuck less is usually very advantageous.
Okay.
There's just a lot of people like talking back and forth.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, that's
being a girl or having a gay. Okay. Thoughts on being a girl boyfriend and or having a gay guy best friend?
Oh, Alex.
She has a gay guy best friend. I have no problem with it at all. I don't care. One time I walked in on them, they were like laying in the same bed. I was like, damn. But this guy's like obviously gay. Like, it's like there's like no, unless he's the best actor in the world. He's like, okay, your boyfriend is gone. We can be serious now. Let's smash. Hey, Alex.
Oh my god, it's so nice.
And actually,
All right, babe, he's gone.
We're gonna travel. Me and my best friend are gonna go on a trip.
I'm just really not jealous type. Like, I just.
He's going to be the cock block, right? When a guy approaches, he's going to be the.
He's
cock
very pro Alex. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of my friends are like.
How is he pro Alex?
Like most of my friends.
I gave him a phone. I simped for him.
Oh, okay.
No, it was before that. No, I like met her friends. I don't know. I was like,
my
cool
friends
and
like him. My friends are very, even though you two are very socially awkward.
I don't know what
you guys are super quiet. You're
because
like,
it's like if I'm talking to a girl,
but
it's usually
like,
if she's attractive, I'm going to hit on her. If she's not,
but it doesn't matter if you're not attracted to her. Like, you just don't be socially awkward.
It's not socially awkward, but we're hanging out like midnight when I'm tired.
Plus,
and like your friend is like talking five miles a minute, or 50 miles a minute. And she's like, whoa, Alex, we got to get you drunk. Alex, when are we going to get wasted? I'm like, I don't know, soon. She's like, wait, we got, blah. I'm like, okay.
But
like, there's different energy levels. It's not
know.
socially awkward.
Yes, you are. Your mom agrees with me too. Like, she's like, Alex is shy.
I think even
what? My mom said it was socially awkward? That never happened.
Your mom said to me, she's like, you know what? Alex is very shy.
Being shy is not the same thing as being socially awkward.
And a little bit
I haven't been shy in
awkward.
like a decade.
You're a little shy when it comes to like, the real you is shy.
The real me, I don't know. I feel like, what is the real me? I don't even know.
I mean, even as a kid, let's say when cousins came over, I used to just go to another room. It's like it's just in my blood. I can't do anything about it. I had to train myself to not be socially awkward to go and talk to girls. So you can imagine what kind of fucking struggle I went through. So even if you're socially awkward, doesn't matter. You can still
I
talk to
think you're
girls.
confusing socially awkward for introvert. I'm definitely an introvert largely.
I would
And
say, yeah,
so
I'm-
he is. See, but that's not the same as being socially awkward.
What is socially awkward to you?
Socially
Saying the
awkward
wrong thing.
is not being able to like have a social interaction. I can do it. I just usually prefer to be alone.
Yeah.
But if I'm forced in a social situation, I can still manage my way around it and
Oh,
navigate.
okay. I'm a social butterfly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
People feel like they can come to me and talk, and they can open up to me, and I'll be very interested.
The
in their
difference is you
lives.
derive energy from being in social interactions. I usually derive energy from being alone.
No,
Yeah,
I like
same.
being alone. I'm a loner too, but I can definitely get, unless I don't like the person, like your friend who I didn't like, and I bully him like throughout the night, little by little.
Bully?
Bullied him.
I kind of bullied
I don't think he
him.
even knew you were there.
he
Bullied him.
didn't knew I was there. I made him very uncomfortable.
Who, Arthur?
Yeah,
Okay,
Tuli. Let's call him Tuli.
let's not dox people who are not on the channel. Like, come on.
That's okay. What other questions
All
do
right.
you have?
So, thoughts on first dates in a group if she's too shy to have a one-on-one?
Hard no. I would never go on a group date in a group if I'm not banging the chick already and she just wants me to be her friends. Definitely no. You gotta respect your time more.
Yes, and the other thing is, it's like sometimes, yes, it can be fun as long as your friend you're taking with you is also really good in game. So group dates with just two other chicks, that's fine. You and your guy, and then two girls, and that guy should understand game really well. Where it's like, oh, let's say the girls decided, okay, you know what, I like the other guy more, and that guy is good at building attraction with the other girl as well. Like, just you have to be that too. But yeah, you got to be like that. But I would highly recommend not say just no. If she's like shy to do that, she's shy to come over, she's shy to fuck, she's gonna be just shy overall. Like, she's not even going to talk to you basically.
Just say no, kids. Like drugs. Say yes to drugs, say no to group dates.
Girl does a lot of girls trip. Okay, if a girl does a lot of girls trips to like Mexico, Toronto, etc., is this a red flag?
I like
Nah.
that a red flag.
No, not necessarily. Depends if she's going with a bunch of dudes, then maybe. But nah, she's just like likes to travel and shit like that. It's not a red flag. Like she does a bunch of trips.
Yeah. I'm abandoning him for Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Actually, it's so funny you mentioned that. I've I've noticed this a lot in like Fresh and Fit's podcasts. Like they say, "Oh, girls trips." Like they look at the camera, guys. Don't be stupid. If your girl is going on girls trip, she's banging. It's just so stupid. That is actually being stupid. Like she's going just to have fun. Of course, like guys are gonna come up, but she has a lot of reputation to lose. Like she's committed, and like if she cheats, the friends are gonna talk about it. Like, of course, she has a lot to lose if she cheats, and you're like, yeah, fuck. That's really not true.
Plus, I have my dog Rhaegar follow Natty around, so
Yeah.
if she fucks up, Rhaegar reports to me. So you can't get past it. Rhaegar.
Who's sleeping there?
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. You
All
just
right.
feed him a little chicken, he'll be your friend.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have Snapchat, but I figured I'd put it on there since they asked. How do you use your Tinder openers on Snapchat? Slowly sexualize and be more indirect is my current approach.
Guys, delete Snapchat. It's largely a waste of time. It's going to be working against you most of the time. You're wasting your time. Just fuck Snapchat. I played around with Snapchat for 3 months. I came to the conclusion that it was largely a waste of time. Most of the chicks that wouldn't give me their phone number but would only give me their Snapchat, I still wasn't able to convert them. So yeah, I would just delete it. That would be my take on that.
All right. Are IndianPE and Alex Eskimo brothers?
No.
We tried it 3 times. All 3 times it failed. I tried twice. You tried once.
What are you talking about?
I tried twice. Remember in the other place with that Romanian chick?
No,
You were like, "Oh, you almost banged," and then, dude, my neck was hurting. And
that's just a typical Alex excuse.
oh, that was crazy. I remember it's very specifically as
I
well.
could have banged her though.
I think so, but by that time she was just feeling too sleepy, and she gave me too much shit. She was like being very, very bratty with you, and then with me she was like being all sweet and saccharine and shit. Even though like she was the one who kind of insinuated, "Wait, do you have a roommate? Can I see a picture?" That's what she asked. Oh, cool. Maybe I can make this happen this time. And when Alex shows up, she sees him. She's clearly attracted to him, but then she gives him a lot of shit. I'm like, and I even assert my boundary. Hey, come on, he's my friend. You don't talk to him that way. And like she was like, okay, I'm so sorry, I won't do it. And then like after that, kind of he tried to escalate, but
No. I mean, she gave me a lot of shit tests, but at one point I was laying in the bed next to her,
Yeah,
and I was like rubbing my dick against her, but then my neck was hurting. I was like, oh god damn it! I was like, fuck, if I bang this chick, my neck's gonna hurt. Took her.
yeah, she was into it too.
Wait, what was the other 2 times?
There was another chick, and can't remember, but for sure it was 2 times. I tried, but it failed.
All right.
I mean that place. Oh, it was banging girl in that place. That is like a legit fucking achievement.
What place?
It was
You've never seen it. It was like
it was insane.
two places ago. I know. I remember when I pulled my ex there. Elle is her first. You know what chick I'm talking about. Where she had like a panic attack when she saw like how messy my room was. I had to like calm her down.
I had 3 girls say, "Yeah, I'm not gonna come back to that place."
Yeah, I know.
After fucking, of course, but
It was just like a total frat house.
that was just insane. I made so many girls score there on your bed.
Oh, lovely image.
It's not a bed, for the record. It's not a bed that it's not the same bed that I sleep on, so it's okay.
I sold it for like $300.
Okay, that bed does no longer exist.
Some like-
I'm sorry, whoever bought it.
Some random old dude is like, "Why does this feel
That guy
sticky?"
was so excited when thank God he didn't see what's that.
Yikers.
All right. So what are your thoughts on girls having guy friends? You brought up gay friends, but what about just guy friends?
Depends on the context. It heavily depends on the context. If it's like work buddies or something like that, or someone that she's known for ages, where it's always been platonic, then yeah, it's cool. But like it depends. Like, are they hanging out at her apartment late at night? Like, what are they doing? Are they going for like social happy hour after work? So a lot of it just depends on the context.
It also depends on how like transparent the girl is, on how, because every time I hang out with I have a lot of guy friends, and every time I hang out with my guy friends, I let Alex know, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go to eat with this guy.
And actually, this is something I forgot to mention. If a girl is still friends with her ex, and she's still looking for new dating prospects, and she still says that I want to keep him as a friend, then that's a huge red flag. You guys have to notice that.
I hope that if Alex and I ever break up, that we can be friends.
I
really hope that my new
wouldn't count on
boyfriend,
it because if you guys like stay friends, you guys are still gonna keep banging in between.
No.
And that's exactly what will happen.
I mean, let's keep it stacked. We're gonna keep banging.
Okay, that's my Alexa.
Okay. Sorry.
Alexa did not like that.
So, but like I have a bunch of guy friends, and I think that one of the things that I do well is that I always keep Alex on the loop when I'm gonna hang out with them.
But the context was different. Here, I was saying that you shouldn't have your ex as a friend. That's
yeah,
what I'm
going back to I don't have any.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Like if a girl has that, don't consider her as a serious option for dating. Just keep it at bay. Just have a very casual fucking.
Let's keep it stacked. She has 9% chance of finding someone else. So there ain't gonna be no next guy.
No, exactly.
There might be a next cat.
Exactly, but so what are the things that I do when I come to my guy friends that give you kind of like peace of mind?
It's not specifically that you do with your guy friends that gives me peace of mind. It's just that I trust you largely. Okay. And I'm pretty good at reading people, so I would know if someone's lying to me, and I just trust in my ability to read people, and that's largely what it comes down to. So I don't think it's anything that you do, but you're very transparent. You tell me everything. That probably helps.
Okay.
All right. So this guy has trouble making multiple conversational threads. Do you have advice on making that easier?
Multiple conversational threads. What does he mean exactly?
His brain storage is not so good, maybe. I don't know. He has trouble keeping a couple different threads that he could move the conversation into.
So let's take it as a context when it comes to like text game. And if there's like multiple threads that are going on, And if it's like if it keeps going on, only pick out the conversation threads which help you escalate. That can be logistically escalate, that means leading to a meetup, or sexually escalate, that helps you sexualize, right? So those two are the threads you need to pick up on. Let's say she talks about, okay, I like to hike, I like to go running, I like to go poop, etc., etc. That's not a very helpful thread, right? And if she says something like,
helpful. Like, what kind of shit? Yeah.
what color are they?
Pics or
What shape are they?
Pics or it didn't happen.
And let's say the second thread is, I love to travel, I love to drink wine, I love to cook for myself. I mean, a question for you guys. I'll be Dora the Explorer here. Which one of the two threads would you pick? Okay, so wait. I was going to answer, but the second thread is why you pick, because you can talk about wine to soft close, or you can basically. No, careful.
Be careful.
Yeah. Basically, something that leads
Can we
you.
get back to work here? For
Yes.
God's sakes.
Be careful.
Sorry, we're hungry.
You could have fixed it.
Okay, we want the next one in?
Yes.
Okay, so this guy wants to know if it's, I mean, I feel like this is self-explanatory, but is it a red flag for your girl to have social media / dating apps?
Okay, two different things. Social media, no. Dating apps, yes. Social media, I have no problem. I know they say that on a Fresh and Fit thing. You gotta make your girl delete your Instagram. I think that largely makes you seem paranoid. I would never make a girl delete Instagram, but also how she uses it. Like if she is posting ass pic back to back, that is pretty troubling, and I would have a discussion with her about that. But if she's using it like in a normal way, then no, that's not a problem. Dating apps, yeah, that would be concerning. Unless, of course, she's doing research for an upcoming video that you're going to be doing.
She failed.
In which,
she failed
in which case, I would allow it. But that only applies if you have a YouTube channel.
But I failed at it miserably. Like, I lasted like a day, and I'm like, Alex, I feel like a scumbag.
Don't worry, she was punished thoroughly.
I'm not gonna do that. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, do you want the next question? Because this one I feel like you'll have plenty to talk about.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's your problem with the rational male?
Jesus, that was a 4-hour video yesterday, bro. Go back and watch the video.
All right, wait, hang on. I'll do a cliff notes. So, so there's a 4-hour video about this where I break it down point by point. But my arguments with
Sorry, I'm like, we're hungry here.
can we focus on this live stream?
Yeah.
You don't feed. He doesn't feed me.
There will be no food. You got to earn your food. Okay, so I would say that my problems come into two categories. One is arguments with the stuff he says, and two is arguments with the stuff he does. So let's separate those. Let's start off with arguments he says. So I disagree with some of his iron rules. 3 specifically out of 9. So 33%. And, you can check out that long live stream I did to look at specific ones. But I'll name one. He says, never under the penalty of death should you reveal your lay count or your sexual history to your current partner. I might have gotten a word or two wrong, but that's basically the gist of it. That's super fucking dumb. I can have no problem telling Nati how many girls I banged before her. It's not going to make me look bad. It's just pure nonsense. So, again, you can watch that video. I also have issue with some of the other stuff he says. Next, we're going to get into things that he does. So, I think Rollo is a hypocrite in a lot of ways. He talks about, how like, oh, don't get married. Yeah, he gets married. Talks about, women as they get older, they lose their, value, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he marries an older woman. He talks about, I'm all about seeking the truth. Yeah, he won't debate me, right? Which is how you seek the truth. He says, oh, Alex, does all these disingenuous arguments. He moves he does a lot of straw man arguments, yet he straw mans my arguments. So I see a lot of hypocrisy there, and that's not to say I disagree with everything Rollo says. I probably agree with 60%. But there's a percentage of things that I disagree about. I think it's important to point that out. I don't see why that's a big deal. And Rollo won't debate me. He just won't do it. So it is what it is.
All right.
Guys, I mean, one more thing is like, if you're deifying someone, don't go to that extent where you would just defend anything they say. I agree with Alex when he says like, don't deify him either. Go out and try it out yourself.
It's me.
go out and try it out yourself. See if it fails or helps you succeed, because a lot of things which I read from the rational male, I went out and tried. I failed at a lot of them, but then I realized, okay, they were wrong. But that doesn't mean like, okay, well, if I find someone else who has better knowledge, then I'm going to defy them. Even with them, there were a lot of things which did not work for me. Simple, like go out and try it out yourself. Don't just be like, oh, everyone follows rational male, so I have to like it as well. Like it's the same thing. Like people love Game of Thrones, you have to love it too. The same. Fuck that. I hate Game of Thrones. He loves it, so it's the same thing. Treat it as like that.
How does anyone hate Game of Thrones?
So gross.
Literally the best show ever. Okay.
Cameraman, you don't like Game of Thrones either?
Lost me after the first season. They killed all the guys I liked.
I don't even know you people.
I like Game of Thrones.
I'm gonna Frank Castle everybody.
Why am I involved here? I like Game of Thrones.
Favorite characters, go.
I like the mother of the dragons.
What's her name? What's her name?
Daenerys. Isn't it her name?
Daenerys.
What are some other names that she's?
Sansa. Jon Snow. What is the other? Like the one who looks like an an emoji, like the emoji girl. What's her name? I suck with names. Like honestly.
All right. Well.
And honestly, like it took me 4 months to remember his last name.
My last name is pretty tricky, but we'll let it slide. I'm gonna Frank Castle everyone else here, including Rhaegar, because he didn't speak up.
All right, now we have 8 people watching, so this will make it easier.
8?
No, I'm just playing. Okay, this guy had a good date on Friday, and they kind of agreed to go to meet again.
Put on the screen. Okay.
It's on the screen.
Oh yeah, my bad.
How long should I wait to text her?
Text her the next day or that night.
It's been like 2 days. Basically.
Oh, text her right now. Yeah, you don't want to wait for like a week and then she's gonna forget who you are.
She's not gonna. I mean, she's not
gonna forget.
It's okay. Okay, I think it's also in terms of like girls have the same clock as we do, right? Like we think about, oh shit, in between these 2 days, if she doesn't reply back, that means she's not interested. So she's gonna think the same way. Okay, if he's not gonna text, that means he's not interested. So fucking text her now. Like it's Friday, it's just Monday, 3 days later. So text her, hey, I had a great time on Friday. How was your week going? And then like try to soft close for the next day.
Ba-dum-bum-bum.
Is Nati main girl?
What is Nati what?
All right, you want to? Okay.
He's like,
Is Nati the main girl of Alex now? Do they tell each other whom and how they hook up with other ladies / guys things?
She is the main girl. We gotta get you like a hat or something. Main girl.
I am the girlfriend, dude.
Main girl status.
The girlfriend status. I was promoted to girlfriend.
Girl. Oh shit. Girlfriend status. Okay. That's like 2 hats.
I know. What was the other question?
Well, do they tell each other and how they hook up with other ladies or guys? So it extends to both of you.
Do you tell her when you hook up with a guy?
Not with a guy, but
there's just too many to count. I mean,
he just tell me when he hooks up with a girl.
Yeah, I just tell her.
Because I'm nosy as fuck.
I just tell her when I hook up with girls.
But not every girl. Like we have like the thing where like.
Yeah, a healthy balance.
A healthy balance.
I really don't hook up with as many girls nowadays as you think.
Because work comes first.
Yeah, I'm always like doing these podcasts.
And I'm honestly not hooking up with anyone right now.
And I had to cancel my date for work today. So.
Other than Alex.
How gallant of you.
As I said.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
I'm so transparent. Even if he doesn't ask me, I'm like, Alex, so I gave this guy my phone number. And that's something that happens to me a lot. I'm giving people my phone numbers.
Yeah, stop giving people your phone number.
I know, but I feel pressure and I feel kind of bad. And ever since I got into the community, I feel
part of the community, guys.
I feel kind of
When
bad.
did that happen?
You know, like,
when were you officially accepted?
I don't know. Like ever since like I educated myself about like the men's struggle, I feel bad because I feel like like it took a lot from him to come up to me.
But
get my number.
So it's gonna be so much better when he doesn't hear back from you.
He always hears back from me. I'm like, look, I felt kind of bad not giving you. Like Alex always helps me find like an excuse.
All right.
That's kind of nice.
So I'm fucking another guy. Yeah.
All right, this is kind of more of what we covered, but are there any red flags different if in an open relationship you still care about what your girl does with guys, even if you're fully open?
Yes.
What was the question again?
Are any of the red flags different if it's in an open relationship? Do you still care about what your girl does with guys, even if you're fully open?
Yes, and no, I don't think there's really a difference.
The only difference between an open and monogamous relationship is the honesty and the openness part.
That's true.
But
You
other
should-
than
you should,
that,
you should be honest and open in a regular relationship too.
yeah, but like in a like the difference between a monogamous relationship and an open relationship is that the option is open.
The option is always there. Yeah.
The option is always there. That's the only difference, in my opinion.
All right. So we got another lady question. If a guy doesn't ask you out again after the first date, parentheses, no sex, for 2 weeks, does it mean he's not interested? He did mention he likes to pursue. That's why I'm not asking him. It's kind of confusing, the question.
Yeah, I can answer that.
I'm gonna get a transport answer.
So
Oh, can I check
basically,
my phone?
I mean, after first date, so this is what, right? Like she, so you liked him, he liked you, but then why didn't the sex happen? So there's a specific reason it didn't happen. Either he did not make it happen, or you did not want to, right? And now it's too late to think about that. But maybe he's thinking now that you actually don't like him at all. So maybe he's because the sex didn't happen, right? So he must be like, okay, this girl might not be interested at all. So what am I pursuing for, right? Because if she doesn't like me at all, why will I pursue? It's the same like when we persist and then we meet up with the girl, and then after meeting up, and even after we banged, we don't pursue after that because, well, it's done. Like all the persisting has happened. So there's nothing else to do, right? Because I'm not trying to build value here. I'm not trying to build the attraction back up here. So yeah, he might be thinking that you're just not into him, right? Because the sex did not happen. Like you have nothing to lose. Might as well just ask him, hey, it's a long shot, but I had a really good time with you, with hanging out with you. I'd love to like grab drink sometime soon, or not to come across too slutty. Just be like, or you can cook at your place, something like that. So if you say that, he's gonna think that okay, there's a possibility of sex happening the second date. So he's gonna be more into it. If you suggest something like a public date, he's gonna be like, nah, I'm not gonna put more time for the public date. I can tell it with so much confidence because I feel the same way. Something like that happens.
I have a question. Do you think that he was just looking out for sex? That's all he wanted, just sex, and maybe
like no guy ever only just wants sex. Like they will want sex, but then like they want to keep seeing the girl anyway.
Not all. Some guys just
Some-
want sex.
I guess, yeah.
a lot of my friends just get ghosted after the first.
First spank.
Yeah.
But
Maybe the sex wasn't good.
Yeah.
No, I
Do
mean,
girls ever think that?
no, like a lot of like times it's like the guy just wanted like just one hookup and that's not. No.
I've ghosted so many girls after fucking because the sex wasn't good.
Oh, okay.
It's either that or the girls are just not that attractive,
For me, it's-
physically or emotionally.
Yeah. They like maybe she's reaching the attraction barrier.
Yeah.
Like a bang barrier. That's what I call it. A bang barrier where it's like the guy is like, okay, she's bangable. I'm probably not going to see her again, but like let's see if the sex is going to be better. Like, but
Yeah. So
more often than
what
not.
happens, and this is very scientific stuff. What happens is every time you bang a chick, your kind of her attraction goes down a little bit, and then kind of plateaus after a while. So let's say your bang barrier is a 6, and this chick's already a 6, so she passes your bang barrier. But then, after the second or third time, she's like a 5.5 or a 5. So now she's below your bang barrier. So that's why you got to start off with like a 7.5. So then,
So
after
the bang
a few
barrier-
bangs, she's like at a 6.5, but she's still above the bang barrier. This is something that no guy will say, but
No, that's true.
my
I 100% agree.
goodness.
With that blondie,
Bombshell.
with the blondie supermodel, the second time I banged, I didn't feel any kind of attraction. Even though like I still had fun, but like I felt no attraction because like I banged her. Like plus she had
So-
nothing to like no good personality for me to follow up with. But yeah,
A question.
what
So how do you keep your relationship like? How do you skip the attraction to the girl you're dating alive?
Oh, it's very simple. You were hotter than the bang barrier.
Yeah.
So you're still above the bang barrier.
She's concerned if you will eventually hit
No,
zero.
no,
If I'll eventually hate the like.
No,
No, because it plateaus. It plateaus.
He did say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You plateaued, my love. You ain't going down anymore.
You're in the plateau right
You're
now.
in the plateau.
You can like run around freely without going to the slopes.
Yeah.
You guys, I learned something new. Like my bubble has been burst.
Why?
Why?
I didn't
It's
know
just
that.
like
I
a
didn't
true-
know like
it's
after sex
unfortunately a
you
true
just
fact, as
lost
simple as that.
attraction. Like
Because why?
A little bit.
Scientifically
Because
speaking,
your novelty has worn off. So then it's like a little bit, but then
Yeah, I mean, scientifically speaking, it is true, right? Because like men are what? They're made to reproduce as much as possible. Facts. Let's keep it stacked. Real talk. Because men are supposed to keep trying to reproduce, and if their attraction to that specific woman is too high, then he's going to keep banging. Then that means he's not spreading enough seeds. So that's why it's kind of like a subconscious thing that happens. But yeah, that's why a guy should always try to aim for at least 2 points above, so that like the attraction doesn't fully ever go below the bang barrier.
because if it goes below, because then you gotta start doing butt stuff.
All right. I would like to stay on this, but I guess we should move on.
please, let's move on. Yeah, I'm not gonna
Question
sleep
for
well
Alex.
tonight.
Once again, another man on the internet is asking about your penis. How do you frame putting your dick size in your Tinder bio? Should you put it at the end?
Oh, we have started doing that. That's so funny.
Should you? How do you frame it? Oh, I don't know. I was just fucking around with just putting it at the very top, but I don't really do that anymore. I feel like I was like, I wasn't too happy with it, but something a client told me about, and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Let me take
No, I mean you can keep doing it. What do you have yours set to?
7 inches.
Okay. Exaggeration, but okay.
As if you've seen it.
I've heard stories. I have mine set to 8 inches. Also exaggeration. Well, I don't know. You just say it in the top. There's no like real framing.
Don't say dick size equals
Yeah,
7
just
inches or something.
you just say
That's all this
just
thing
say.
is.
Look,
Just put 7 inches.
no. It's the right answer is always 8 inches. No matter how big your dick is, the right answer is always 8 inches.
All right. I guess what's your approach to LMR? I know you say you don't talk about it on your channel, but I'm curious, do girls change their mind when at your apartments?
Sometimes, yeah. What's my approach to MR? Let me just think of how I can answer this without like going too far on YouTube.
Why don't you? Do you have like any articles to it that we can
I have
link
like
to it?
I
Because I don't think you should definitely.
do have an article in the forums. I wrote it a while ago. I had to find it, but I know I wrote something where it was very descriptive about LMR.
Or can you do a very descriptive LMR article?
No, I have one already. I just gotta find
Then
it, but
let's find
it's
it
in the
and-
forums.
Link it to the info here. Can we do that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this: like, you have to figure out where the LMR is coming from, what the reason for it is. Part of that from experience. Is the LMR coming from because the girl just wants to play a little game with you and see how you react? Is she testing you? Is she because she's not comfortable yet? Is she because she has some unanswered concern or objection? So based on the reason that the LMR is coming from, your actions will be different. But yeah, I do have a detailed article on that. I have also a video on that that I think we did together, what to do when she doesn't want to have sex with you. So we definitely already have content on this one. I know I'm being purposely vague, but it's just for YouTube.
Okay, so if Nat were to tell you she's going to fuck a guy tonight, do you stop her even if you're both in an open relationship?
I don't think that would ever happen, to be honest.
Well, maybe just a hypothetical.
Like as a hypothetical, she told me that she was going to go fuck a guy tonight. That would probably be the relationship. In all honesty, like if you told me that, I would be like, okay, yeah, I'm good.
Really?
It would definitely be a significant.
How come?
It would definitely be a
Please
significant
expand.
issue.
Please
Oh no,
expand.
because I just don't want to see you get railed by other dudes. Call me crazy. Well, we've talked about this before.
Yeah, they're against open marriage. I find that funny. I find that kind of like
Like, I'm trying to think. The only exception would be like maybe if you were traveling and you were like, "Hey, I got drunk one night," and it was like a set of circumstances, and it was like I was on vacation, you weren't there, I couldn't call you. Then I might be able to let that slide. I don't know. I would have to. It hasn't happened. I would have to see how I feel when it happened. But if it was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna go fuck another guy tonight," like while we're hanging out, I'd be like, "Okay," like
I'm gonna fuck Bambi tonight.
I'll be like, "Okay, why don't you go and stay with that guy then?"
Yeah.
But
I don't
doesn't
think-
that defeat the purpose of the open relationship though?
Yes, but what you're forgetting is that I'm a hypocrite.
Fuck you.
No, I mean,
No.
I don't know how to explain this without getting into the nuts and bolts of our dynamic.
Yeah.
Which I don't. It's not like I minded doing it, but it's just, I don't know how exciting that's going to be for the audience. But it's like a little bit of a double standard.
So we had a conversation about this, where it's a conversation I brought up. I'm just gonna go I'm gonna stand on this, where we discussed what were the things that each of us was okay with. The way I see it is that it doesn't necessarily have to equate. There are things I'm gonna be okay with, and it's fine by me. It doesn't really bother me. And there are things that Alex, it's not gonna be okay with. So it's like a discussion that we had.
Yeah, it's like for me, for example, like if she was like, "Oh, I really want to go to this art gallery, and there's this one guy, who wants to go with me, but I'm not gonna have sex with him." Like, I would be way more lenient about that because to me, it's like way bigger deal if she bangs a dude than she like goes to something that I don't want to do in the first place, like an art gallery. Like, I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just have kind of different standards.
Like for me, like he being close to another girl, like emotionally, I do have a problem with that.
What about me being close to regular?
No, I don't have a problem with that. I don't even have a problem with you being close to IndianPE.
Yeah.
Well, we are physically close right now.
I know.
This is my
That's
big
why.
dress anyway.
Well, maybe I do have a problem. That's why I'm always instigating fights between you two.
This is true.
I mean, stirring the pot is
Alex
a number
accused
one.
me of instigating fights between you
It's
two.
true.
Quality.
Whenever we get into arguments, it's when you're here.
I don't know if that's true.
I think it's pretty much true.
Oh yeah. Next questions.
We're pretty much caught up, to be honest with
Okay. How many
Okay.
hours are we in?
you. 210.
Okay.
Let's
I
take
think
like
it's
one
good-
let's take one or two more questions. Is there anything?
Well, no, because I went all the way down the chat. And it actually, like the very, very top ones that came in, it like starts.
Yeah,
it only goes back to 11:14.
That's weird as well. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it does that. That's StreamYard just being weird.
Yeah.
All right. If you don't have any, guys, if you have any last questions, get them in now. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel because on Wednesday we got porn star Sarah J coming in the studio. She's gonna be sitting on the casting couch, which is something she's probably done many times in her life, but she's gonna be doing it for us. So it's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna ask her a few questions, but it's gonna be largely Q&A because the first time I interviewed her, we didn't have enough time for Q&A. So I think that's gonna be a good time. And then we got all other awesome podcasts. We got other good videos. Once we hit 75,000, as I keep promising you guys, we're gonna release a infield rejection compilation. That's gonna be good as well. Let us know in the comments, you guys liking this new setup.
There's one question.
Oh, let me get through this little rant, and
Okay,
then we can.
sorry.
So let us know in the comments whether you like this setup or not. What you think we can improve on. We always try to take your your critiques into account. Yeah, all right. Let's get back to the last questions.
So a lady asked, "What should a man see before turning a relationship more serious?"
Oh, nice. I like that.
I like that question.
What's the question?
What should a man see before turning a relationship more serious?
A man should see her values when. Okay, so big thing is like, she actually brings up his social value when he's out with her friends, when she's out with his friends, etc. It's got to be like you and her are together, like you and her are like in a bubble, and you both actually like bring the party up or something like that. And there's like other values where it's like, for me, it's like a girl should respect my place, my room, and like if there's like clothes lying around, etc. And if she is the cause of it, she needs to clean up after herself. And sometimes like my closet, I fucking hate. I hate doing my closet. And if he takes the thought to do my closet, that's a huge bonus points for the girl. And that's when I'll actually like start considering her
Acts of
as someone
services.
serious.
You like acts of
Acts of
service.
yeah, I would say acts
So
of
would you consider
acts of
seriously?
service.
Would you seriously consider a cleaning lady?
I mean, if the sex is good, right? Obviously, I haven't banged this cleaning lady, so I can't tell.
Not yet.
What for you?
The question is, well, what
What should a man see before turning a relationship more serious?
One is that you're in a place in your time in your life where you're ready for that kind of thing. So if you're like trying to, go out and bang more girls, doesn't matter how awesome she is, it's not gonna make a difference. So you have to be at the right place at the right time in your life. That's, I think, very important. It's got to be something that you want. Two, in the girl, I think you really need to spend time with her and figure out her personality. Make sure she's not putting on a charade or a mask, that you actually know the real her and what you're getting, that you really know what you're buying and what you're signing up for. You can always get into a relationship with her later. So it's much easier. You can always wait a little bit longer, like just play things slow and then get into a relationship later down the line. But it's harder to get into a relationship with her early and then slow things down, right? You can't really go backtrack. So yeah, that's my advice, is just like, there's no need to rush this thing. Just play it slow. And once you're convinced, you know who she is, you have a track record of her being awesome, her not lying to you, her, adding value to your life, that's when you would kind of consider it.
Also, if she's your biggest fan, I think that's important. If she's your biggest supporter.
Not everyone has a YouTube channel.
No, it doesn't matter, but like someone who supports you, someone who's like always, like
That is true.
even
Yeah,
if
that's true.
she's like,
Very supportive, yeah, and she adds
Yeah, I
value
think-
to your life, yeah.
I think that's important.
That's what I said, yeah. Well, like, adding value.
That's
to
when
your
I
life.
say like when she's your biggest
A
fan.
woman gotta a woman gotta relieve stress rather than cause it.
Yeah, I think every relationship.
Yeah.
In a relationship, yeah.
All right, quick one. When's your next infield?
75K.
Well, that's when we're releasing the rejection compilation in terms of our success in field. I don't know, maybe in a week or two.
All right. How do you improve your vocal tonality?
TRT. No, I mean, that does help. Becoming more confident in the situation. When you're more confident, your tonality will be better. When you're like anxious and shit, your voice will naturally not sound good. So I just think becoming more confident in whatever situation that you want to improve your voice tonality in is how you're going to get there.
All right. Here's an interesting one. What are your thoughts on switch type sex dynamic? You know what that is? You know what that is?
Swingers?
No, the switch.
Oh,
It's like
switch,
the girl-
dom sub.
The girl becomes the guy.
Dom
becomes the
sub.
girl. Shit like that.
I'm not into anyone becoming the guy but me. Where she dominates. I mean, it depends on how far it goes. Where she rides you or something like that. I'm cool with that. But when she dominates me, no. Yeah, I just think it comes down to personal preference. That's not something I'm personally into. That's not to say it's wrong or something like that. I know Fresh and Fit makes an argument. They were talking about, I was watching one of their clips today. They were talking about ass eating, and they were talking about how what was it? Oh yeah, they were saying, one of the girls, yeah, if a guy lets you eat his ass, it's because he doesn't respect you and he's trying to put you in your place. And I was like, no, maybe he's
That's
just
such an aimless thing.
Yeah, I was just like, maybe he's just into that shit. Maybe he just likes to have his ass eaten. It's not something I like, unless I have diarrhea. But no, so they just kind of miss the boat there. They just make it seem like it's wrong to for a girl to eat a guy's ass. I just don't think that. It's not something I'm into. But there's no right or wrong answer here. It just comes down to personal preference and what you're into.
I think the biggest thing with Fresh and Fit is they just regurgitate stuff. I don't think they've personally tried them out and then disproved it in their head or something like that. They just say what other people have said, because I've heard that exactly from AMS, because he's like, if a girl behaves badly, I'm going to punish her with her making her lick my ass, which is so fucking weird as fuck. She gonna lick some ass, yo. That's I don't know. I can't talk like a black guy, but yeah, I don't think that's the case. Plus, Fresh and Fit doesn't view sex as pleasurable for both parties. They only view sex as some kind of value exchange, which is so stupid. So please stop watching them. I mean, we'll.
Does Tinder throw significantly fewer matches if you don't pay Tinder Gold?
I don't think it's significantly, but I do like having Tinder Gold because I think you save a lot of time. So I'm personally a big advocate of having Tinder Gold.
This one says, do you feel that Alex is your best option and hence you don't want to see other men? I have a similar relationship with the girl I'm seeing.
I mean, clearly.
I mean, clearly, I'm very.
Once you have the filet mignon, you don't go back to the chuck roast.
I'm very committed to my relationship with him, and I'm very committed to the space I'm in. So, and I just don't like dating either.
I think when they talk about hypergamy, they really miss the boat on the fact they say, oh, a girl will trade up when there's a better option.
Oh, fuck no.
But just because there's a better option comes along, like, let's face it, I'm not the best option in Miami. I'm the second best. When the best option comes along, that still doesn't negate from the fact that the girl is heavily invested in you and she's very comfortable in you. So that option would have to be so much fucking better. Like, if the option is a little bit better and she has to be like dissatisfied with you for some reason. So it has to be like this perfect storm for the girl to trade up. Unless the girl is an extreme narcissistic gold digger, in which case she'll trade up either way. But you don't want to date those girls.
Yeah, I mean, like, financially, I'm doing really well off myself. So, and like, I just hate, one, I hate dating. Two, I'm very happy with where I am right now with my relationship.
Very nice.
And three is, I don't know, like, we could say that, yes, maybe, yeah, you are my best option, but I'm really not pursuing anything, or like, I'm really not really paying attention to other guys.
Oh, all right. Alex, this guy, he messaged a girl he used to work with, but she didn't respond for like 2 days. He wants to know if he should follow up or will it give her creepy vibes?
You can follow up. I mean, I don't think one text will do that. You can send one more text if she
used
doesn't.
to work with anyway, so
if she doesn't respond to that, then I would let it go. But you can follow up.
What makes a woman wifeable?
We covered that, right?
Yeah, I feel like we covered that.
Okay.
Shit, always backs up. Is the best.
How do you deal?
How do you deal with someone?
Yeah,
how
that's
do you
a
deal with
good.
catching someone lying in a relationship? So you guys kind of covered that, didn't you?
Not exactly. I mean, depends on
the gravity of
the gravity of the lie, but I would call it out. My response would depend again on the gravity of the lie. If something minor and significant and the intentions was good, I'd be like, hey, listen, I know your intention was good, but don't do that again. If it's like, a major lie, then that would probably be the end of that relationship.
Should be, yeah. That's how it should be.
All right. This guy says he has a 9-inch penis and he wants to know if he should put 8 because it's more believable.
Might as well not put anything.
Just go with 9.
That's so painful.
All right. Alex, how tall are you?
5'11".
Okay.
Damn, this guy should be important shit. 9 inches. It's a monster.
That's some painful
Monster
sex.
dog. Magnum
condoms for my Magnum
I'm
dong.
ready to plow.
You should see him feast.
Yeah, that's pretty much caught up. Oh, we got a few more. Why do girls just drop off a good text conversation?
Could be many reasons. Maybe she got bored. Maybe she forgot to respond. Maybe she had some kind of emergency happen. I mean, what would be some reasons why you would drop off from texting a guy?
He said something that I didn't like.
Could be that.
He gave me the creeps. He sexualized it a little too quick.
All right. Somebody wants to know where you find deepfake models, but I don't think we really need to cover that. It's kind of like
Just any Instagram models, basically.
Yeah.
All right. So this one is Alex. If you were 5'7", would you put your height on your Tinder bio or leave it out? Also, would you exaggerate your height by a couple of inches for the bio to like 5'9"?
If I was 5'7", I would just leave it out.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty easy. Can money make or break a relationship?
So most often, no, it's not money. People overblow that on like Fresh and Fit, unless you're like super broke, in which case I think with money, it's like one of those things where you get diminishing returns once you get above a certain point. So if you go from 30,000 to 60,000, that significantly impacts your lifestyle. If you go from 60,000 to 120,000, yeah, it has a pretty good effect. But 120, 240, minor effect. 240 to 480, not big effect at all. 480 to $1 million, really not much of an effect. So it's one of those things where you get diminishing returns. So if you're in scarcity and you're constantly fighting about how to pay the bills, then yeah. But if you are, middle class or something like that and above, then no. Like if I was to double my income, like it wouldn't really have a significant effect on my lifestyle.
What if she makes more money than you?
What if she makes more money? I don't know. Like some guys really care about that. I never really gave a shit about that.
All right, there's one here that's pretty good. Is confidence something that you can force or fake, or something that is only developed over time and repetition?
A little bit of both. I mean, I would say try to fake it. I agree that we'll fake it till you make it, but you want to do a little bit of both. And then confidence comes from competence. So, for example, if let's say you're super unconfident when you go on a date, but let's say I have a magic wand, and for the next 20 dates, you bang each one of those chicks on the first night. On the 21st date, when the wand no longer applies, you're going to be super confident. So confidence usually comes from competence.
All right. If he's 5'9 3/4, should he say he's 5'11"?
No.
Yeah. No, in that case, I would probably, yeah.
5'10".
Nah, I'd go 5'11".
Really?
Yellow.
All right. Very important question. What's the best time of the day to bang?
That depends. If you're a morning person,
Yeah, that's largely personal preference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like morning sex.
I don't like morning anything.
Uh-huh.
What's the best country to approach more feminine girls?
South America, Eastern Europe, either one of those.
All right. Well, we are caught up.
All right.
should we give it a night? Thank you guys.
Oh yeah, let's call it that. All right, guys, thanks for joining in. Remember, Saturday, Wednesday, it's gonna be a good time. Let's thank Nati.
Thank you guys for answering my questions.
All right.
I'm falling asleep here and I'm hungry.
Let's thank IndianPE. Let's thank our behind the scenes camera guy who is the only person in Miami who has a CD drive. Very important. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, guys.